You're watching Prime Sports Northwest, home of the Washington Huskies. Pac-10 football on Prime Sports Northwest is brought to you in part by Rainier Beer.
The Arizona State Sun Devils are having an up-and-down season. After beating USC earlier in the year, the Sun Devils are coming off 2 straight losses, and no one is giving them much of a chance to snap that streak against the Huskies. Sophomore quarterback Brett Powers has recovered from a shoulder strain that sidelined him for 3 games. Last week, Powers returned to action to throw for almost 300 yards against UCLA. On defense, Sparks will fly again today, as in talented Felipe Sparks. The senior cornerback is a top professional prospect. The only team that can stop the Huskies is the Huskies. The Dogs have been shooting themselves in the foot lately, including 12 penalties last week against the Oregon Ducks. Mario Bailey continues to shine brightly. His 2 TD grabs last week set a new UW single-season record for TD catches with 11. And flanker Orlando McKay will look to repeat his performance of last week. 9 catches, 105 yards, and 1 touchdown. It's the Sun Devils under pressure to win for head coach Larry Marmee, and the Huskies under pressure to meet spiraling expectations. It's all next on Prime Sports Northwest. The influence of Washington's opponent today, the Sun Devils of Arizona State, but they have brought some beautiful sunshine to the great Northwest as the Sun Devils at 4-3 take on the 7-0 undefeated and 3rd-ranked Washington Huskies here in Seattle. Hello again, everybody. I'm Don Poyer. Glad to have you with us this evening on Prime Sports Northwest. An interesting game today. Washington continues in that ever-climbing ladder, trying to go up towards that undefeated season and possibly a national championship. But Chuck Nelson today, they go against a man by the name of Larry Marmee, always known for good defenses at Arizona State. Yeah, they struggle offensively, but I've got the feeling with a good defense like this, it could be a very tough day for Washington.
The number 2 ranked defense behind Washington's defense in the conference. They've got some big play guys, and it's a Washington offense that has struggled a little bit the last couple of weeks. Could be a low-scoring game. Hopefully for Husky fans, the Husky offense will work their way out of that supposed slump.
Yeah, they may rise to the occasion. We'll see. The real story right now is the race for the roses, of course. Washington at 4-0 overall, Cal, UCLA at 3-1, Arizona State along with Stanford at 2-2. But Washington against Arizona State today, and again, I think it's going to come down to offense more than likely of Arizona State. Can they come up with it? Now, as far as the Sun Devils, they've got a quarterback by the name of Brett Powers, just a sophomore. Didn't play against the Dogs last year down in Tempe.
No, he started the first 3 games this year, a big win over USC. Sun Devil fans were very optimistic after those first couple of games. A big game against UCLA last week, 17 for 26 in the 4th quarter. He ended up with 295 yards on the day, but he's a guy that they're very, very glad to have back.
Strong and big. Now, defensively, Shante Carver, he's kind of like the Donald Jones of the Sun Devils, maybe.
You see 24 tackles, but 14 of those are for loss. 10 sacks. He's played 18 college games and has 20 sacks in those 18 games. He's not a starter, but he is a guy that can come off the bench and make some big plays for an Arizona State defense that's going to have to make them today.
As for the Washington Huskies, they're averaging almost 500 yards per game on offense. And one man who has been rather quiet all season, but now in the last couple of games has been busy, is tight end Aaron Pierce.
15 catches on the year doesn't sound too spectacular, but he's got 6 of those catches in the last 2 weeks. He's a guy that's starting to become a bigger part of that offense, will open up the outside passing game even more for Orlando McKay and Mario Bailey.
And drive those linebackers crazy. As far as the defensive unit, Shane Palcoa, third leading tackler now. He's playing very well.
You hear a lot of attention given to Dave Hoffman, Steve Emman, a lot of those up front guys, but Shane Palcoa is a guy that's come on and free safety, beat out Tommy Smith, and has played well enough to allow Tommy Smith, last year's 12-game starter, to move to rover back, where he has been a big part of that defense too. But Shane Palcoa's play has allowed them to let Tommy Smith play another position.
As far as the game keys, it's almost seemed redundant talking about the Huskies this year. Don't hurt themselves, but I tell you, there's still some important factors here, Chuck.
Well, you talk about last week with the 12 penalties, over 100 yards in penalties, a couple of turnovers the last couple of weeks deep in their opponent's territory. They just have to keep within themselves and don't make it any harder than it has to be. The Arizona State defense, we talked about Shante Carver. That's one of the big play players that they have. But Felipe Sparks has got to make big plays. In a game like this, your number one guys, your leader guys have got to come through and make those big plays. You talk about now when Arizona State has the ball, we're going to see a lot of that short passing game. Basically, the UCLA offense that was successful against this Husky defense last year. Arizona State does run the shotgun. They have a shotgun package. They'll probably expand that some today, and we'll see them do a little bit more with the short passing game. The UW defense has got to just not give up the big plays. We saw it against Cal. We saw one big play versus Oregon last week. That's what their weakness has been, is every now and again somebody will go for 40 yards and 6 points on them.
In a nutshell, this is November, and in November you cannot afford to lose, regardless of what your rankings or what your record might be. This is pressure time for the Huskies and the Sun Devils. We'll be back with the kickoff in a moment. Huskies football on Prime Sports Northwest is brought to you by Rainier Beer. Around here, it's Rainier.
The Ford Taurus has always been a great-looking car, but for 1992, Ford has made it even more attractive from one end to the other. You can still get all the options you want on this spacious new Taurus, even though it's been redesigned from one side to the other, inside and out. And you can get the Taurus at a great price, even though it looks more elegant from top to bottom. Go to your Northwest Ford dealer today and take a look at the new Taurus for yourself.
Not every manufactured home could stand up to a Montana winter. So these homes are being built to energy-efficient, super good sense standards. They're snug to keep drafts out and comfort in. Solid to hold down heating and cooling costs. And smart because they come with a cash rebate. Super good sense. Accept no substitute. Call 1-800-242-CENT.
Watch Husky basketball in the Doghouse. Experience great collegiate basketball action Wednesday, November 6th at 7:30. The Huskies take on Iceland, and you can go absolutely free. That's right, no charge. And this Saturday, before the Arizona State football game, you can tailgate with Lynn Nance and his team as they hold a free public scrimmage from 11 a.m. until 12 noon in Heckhead. Husky basketball season tickets are on sale. Call 543-2200 to reserve your seats in the Doghouse.
It's game number 8 for the Washington Huskies. Here at Husky Stadium, Arizona State, the Sun Devils come in with a record of 4-3, 2-2 in the Pac-10. Washington, of course, 4-0 and atop the standings all alone. The series overall, this is the 13th meeting. It's been a tight series, a controversial series. A few forfeits were involved back in the early years when they first came into the Pac-10, that being Arizona State. They've won 3 of the last 4. The last time Arizona State won was in 1989 here in Husky Stadium, 34-32 in a track meet of passing between Kerry Conklin and Paul Justin. Larry Marmee is now in his 4th year, and yep, no question, he's on the bubble again. They started out strongly, winning their first couple, defeating USC, and now they've lost 2 straight to Washington State and UCLA. But you see, when they lead after 3 quarters, they're in good shape. Don James can't be in much better shape than the Huskies are now. Of course, Don in his 17th year and the all-time winningest coach in the Pac-10 for Pac-10 conference victories. Going back to the start of 1990, beginning of last season, they have outscored their opponents on an average of over 38 points to 12. Their record, by the way, 17-2 since September of 1990, back in the beginning. Washington won the toss. They have chosen to defer. Arizona State is going to receive. So Jason Crabb, the junior, will kick off. Washington hoping to go 8-0, and it all begins right here on a perfect day for football. Wind virtually non-existent, maybe a little bit coming off the lake. And we're underway. From the 5, Galbraith met at the 22-yard line. Lewis Jones, one of the first to get there. He's the redshirt freshman out of Los Angeles, and now starting for Arizona State in his 5th start of the year. Brett Powers, he's a big one, 6'5", 210, out of nearby Glendale, Arizona. Eric Gulliford, one of the most dangerous receivers in the Pac-10, and a good up front group led by Toby Mills at center. 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. 2 wide receivers, one to the left. That's Snyder going in motion. Play action pass right off the bat. Powers wanting to throw, nearly intercepted. Let's see if they call it. Yes, they do. Walter Bailey, number 6 in 1991.
Big play right off the bat for the Husky defense, and Walter Bailey. See, Snyder goes in motion. One-on-one with Walter Bailey. Palcoa has the deep coverage. Ball just thrown into the wrong spot. Snyder has got to keep running the route. Walter Bailey, the only guy who even tries to make a play on the ball, number 6 on the year. He's number 6 in the country coming into the game.
And they broadcasted that he was going to pass. My goodness, Powers did everything but write it on a billboard. In motion, Bean O'Brien on 1st and 10. Matt Jones slices inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line. Good first down gain by the starting fullback. He's averaging over 5 yards per carry this year. Matt doing the job. And the offense led by Billy Joe, wanting to come back, play a little better game than he did against Oregon. Orlando McKay with 105 yards in receiving last week. Bean O'Brien with 108. Pete Caligas leads that group along with senior Ed Cunningham at center. And on 2nd down, keeping it inside, Bean O'Brien. Close to the 1st down. Need to get to the 23-yard line to do so. And the defense for Arizona State, a very good one. 2nd in total defense only to Washington in the Pac-10. Shane Collins, he's the leader down there, the man who missed virtually all of last year due to a knee injury. Wallerstedt, one of the best linebackers in the Pac-10. And Felipe Sparks, a very high pro prospect as the defensive back. It's 3rd down and 2, no gain on the play. Earlier, Jay Berry fighting his way, kind of waiting for a seam. And will be short. They're playing against, again, a very, very good defense.
A decision early for Don James. 4th and about half a yard at the 24-yard line. Chance to establish his big guys as better than the Arizona State big guys. 4th and 1, he will go.
It is actually less than a yard. They need to get to the 23-yard line. The ball is just inside the 24 for Don James. Johnson in motion. Tailback. 1st down, Washington. Jay Berry inside the 20. A gain of 5 yards. We didn't see that kind of thrust against Oregon when it was 4th and short.
You can see just driving him off the ball. Leif Johnson and Matt Jones both with blocks on Justin Dragoo to open up that hole. Your straight isolation blast. Make that linebacker step up and take on 2 guys.
Adam Brass, number 26, coming up to help on the play. So it's 1st and 10 from the 19. 3 wide receivers to the left side. Flag down. We saw some ASU folks in there. Bean O'Brien on the screen. Not a lot of help blocking, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Justin Dragoo, number 48, one of the first there. But let's see what the flag is all about.
Billy Joe Hobart has been very successful early with keeping that Arizona State defensive line off balance. You see here, they got so far off balance, they leaned across the ball into the neutral zone. Larry Marmee has a beef on Billy Joe Hobart.
I don't know how, because his people that moved were the ones that were way outside. Larry not happy. They're coming off a real tough loss to UCLA at home and to Washington State 17-3 2 weeks ago. For the year, almost 1,500 yards in 7 games for Billy Joe. 13 touchdowns, 11 of those belonging to Mario Bailey. Well, I can't say that because Mark Brunell's got a couple in there too. So it'll be 1st and 5 as Bino goes in motion. Again, defensive players moving around. Matt Jones gets inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, and there's something Billy Joe's doing with that cadence. Possibly. 5 yards, possibly. There it is again. Larry's going to go ballistic on this one.
He's waiting for his chance. There it is.
Defense is declined. 1st down.
Okay, so they decline and take the 1st.
Billy Joe Hobert. Larry Marmain possibly claiming that Hobert is bucking his shoulders and his head a little bit, but certainly nothing too dramatic. You're going to have to scream to be heard over 70,000 people. You're going to have to at least take a deep breath.
Well, there's something in that cadence, obviously. A little jerk with a voice, who knows, a pause. It's working at this point anyway. 1st and goal from the 9. Bino, boom, against the wall, and number 72, David Dixon, at 6'7" and over 315 pounds, met him head on.
One of those very rare occasions when a Husky offensive line is going to run up against the defensive line that's as big as they are. Dixon at 315, Arthur Paul, number 93, at 290 pounds. Shane Collins there is the little guy at 265. But those Husky coaching staff is concerned about the push, the penetration of those big Arizona State defensive linemen.
2nd down and goal from the 10. 3 receivers left. This may be, yes it is, first pass of this series. Touchdown Washington. Orlando McKay held on against Adam Brass. Pressure on both Billy Joe Hobert and on the receiver McKay for his 4th touchdown reception.
3 wide receivers left. McKay just runs the post route. Ball is on target. Hobert takes a shot, bloodies his nose a little bit, but Orlando McKay gets his 4th touchdown of the year. Satisfying indeed, extra satisfying because he is an Arizona boy.
Orlando McKay, yes. Travis Hansen back to kick. He was 21 of 24 coming in, 22 of 25 for 1991. And of course, he's coming off a big day against Oregon last week. We'll be back in just a moment. 7-zip Huskies with 11:23 remaining. 1st quarter.
International Mint and Foundry presents the Don James Limited Edition Solid Silver Medallion, heavily plated in 24-karat gold, attractively presented with a signed limited edition print. The first 1,200 receive a leather-bound book of Husky football history and an invitation to a private party to have your book autographed by Husky football greats. Call now, 1-800-882-0275. Ask about this and other collector's packages commemorating Don James, the Pac-10's most successful coach.
It's the biggest thing to hit the Northwest in a long time. Announcing the specially priced Rainier Light Beer 16-can game pack, complete with an offer for a limited edition pint glass, all you could ask for, in a new and somewhat larger size.
Call 1-800-882-0275 now to order your Don James limited edition collector's package and receive an invitation to the Husky Greats autograph party. This is your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to meet face-to-face with some of the great Husky legends. But you must call 1-800-882-0275 now to order your Don James medallion and receive your invitation. Call 1-800-882-0275 now to order your collector's package and attend the Husky Greats party.
That was a 33-yard.
Billy Joe Hobert facing the camera. Orlando McKay with his back to you after his 4th reception for a touchdown this year. Billy Joe took one in maybe the chin or something in the mouth. Doctors still. Is it the chin, Chuck?
Shane Collins with the forehead to the chin. See, the Huskies take advantage of the turnover. Interception by Walter Bailey. Big 4th down. They went for it and got it and put it in the end zone.
They'll take 33-yard drives any day. Jason Crabb with a high kick to Galbraith again, this time at his own 3. To the 15. And will not get to the 20-yard line. Are they calling it a fumble? They are!
Arizona State has only touched the ball 3 times today, and Walter Bailey has taken it from them twice.
Leif Johnson was involved with that as well, number 34. Let's see. Here's Galbraith. Leif Johnson may have caused it. He did. There it is. He ripped it right out of him. I'm not sure he wasn't already down.
Try to look at it from the backside. You can see the hole closed. There's a lot of activity in there. Leif Johnson, the ball is out right there. Underneath Galbraith, bounces up into Johnson. He throws it over to Walter Bailey. Walter Bailey's got more yards than Arizona State does.
That's clearly a fumble. Yeah, this is it. As you see, we'll talk about that more in a moment. On first down, the option of Bino Bryant trying to get outside. Good containment by Sparks. Flag goes down. We may have a face mask. Let's wait and see. Maybe a hold. As they lose one. Face mask it is. I thought it might have been because the flags went down right in the area of the play where the ball was. You saw very briefly the graphic about Arizona State. In their 4 wins, they are a +11 in turnovers. In their 3 losses, they are a -6. Here you go. +11 when they're winning the games, and -6 in today already. They copped
Face
it up.
mask, 5 yard against the defense. 5 yards.
Again, Bino. Sparks may have been the man.
We play Sparks, questioning whether he's going to lose his leverage, just grabs onto whatever he can get, and unfortunately it's the face mask of Bino Bryant.
Sparks coming off a great game against UCLA. He had 10 tackles, 1 deflected pass, an incredible interception you saw off the top of our broadcast against Tommy Maddox and the Bruins. But they came up short, 21-16. They closed strong in the 4th quarter, but could not come up with a win. First down and 5. The ball is right on the 11-yard line, right hash mark. Bailey and McKay wide to the left side. Staying on the ground, Bryant. Not much of a seam there as he gets down to the 9-yard, gain of 2 yards, 9-yard line. Shane Collins, number 83, the senior out of Bozeman, Montana, with the tackle. Overall, Bryant, the Killer Bees, Bryant and Berry rushing the ball and receiving, of course, those 11 TDs. Most TDs ever in an NFL season, or rather a Washington season, is 17. Talk about that in a moment as Bryant carries down near the 5-yard line, should have a first down.
Good job by Bino Bryant of getting yards in traffic. Think of Bino as a speed guy, but he can show that ability that even in the middle, fall forward, get those extra 2-3 yards and spin loose. Got him a first down there.
Brett Wallerstadt, the leading tackler on this team for Arizona State, with 77 this year, had the tackle that time. So Billy Joe back in there looking at 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Bailey, the only receiver, he's to the left. Keeper got his man. Excuse me, it was Matt Jones. I was trying to duke that tackler along with Matt that time. Saw him coming down and wanted to warn him.
Your deke wasn't any better than Matt Jones's.
Right. Gain of 3.
A lot of crossing action in the backfield. Just get it out to the wide open guy. You get Matt Jones one-on-one with Kevin Minifield. He's got to be able to get that ball in the end zone. A nice tackle by Minifield to save the touchdown.
He's the right cornerback. He's a junior out of Phoenix. At only 5'9", 177, but can deliver a blow. It's 2nd and goal from the 3. Berry crashes his way down. Very close. No. Linesman says he went down before he went across the line. Kendall Ryan, one of the first to get to him.
Get a look from right behind the official. Power football again. You can see the right side of the offensive line pulls. The ball's in his right arm, remember. The ball has to cross the line, not the helmet.
Washington keeping it on the ground primarily so far on these 2 short drives, and why not? 3rd and goal from the 1. Johnson in motion in their power formation. Berry. Touchdown, Washington. Well, I'll tell you, he took a couple of hits, but he got it in there. And that is his 9th touchdown in 1991. So before Arizona State can even get their offense on the field for more than 1 play, the Huskies could be up by 2 TDs.
See Chris Wrong and Matt Jones leading the way right over the backside of Ed Cunningham. Power football, 3rd and goal from the 1. Good penetration by Arizona State. Jay Berry does his Herschel Walker impression and goes over the top.
Plus, he got over the goal line before Wallerstedt and the 44 could get to him with the leverage. But what a hit he took from a few other people once he got over the line. Jay Berry, touchdown number 9 for him. We'll take a break. 8:55 remaining first quarter. Huskies already up by 2 touchdowns.
This student athlete is talented, works hard, and the grades meet all collegiate admission requirements.
Last year, millions of dollars in athletic scholarships went unused.
Thanks. I know you can help.
The average cost of a 4-year college education is over $50,000.
There's millions of dollars available in athletic scholarships to help qualified student athletes fund their college education. One simple phone call can put your student athlete in front of almost every college coach in America they qualify to play for. I've known high school athletes who could have performed on the college level, but they lacked the exposure necessary to be recruited. College Prospects of America has helped thousands of student athletes gain the exposure necessary in almost every sport.
Call College Prospects of America. They'll help you access athletic scholarship opportunities you never knew existed.
Call now. Don't waste the opportunity of a lifetime.
See if your student athlete qualifies for College Prospects' unique service. Call 1-800-755-CPOA to receive a free athletic questionnaire.
If you bank with Security Pacific Bank, your money could be shipped off to California because that's where their home office is. But with Puget Sound Bank, you're doing business with a local bank that cares about this community. We even make a deposit to a fund to help stop pollution in the Sound every time you write a bank club check. Puget Sound Bank, the last major independent commercial bank left around here.
Be sure to catch volleyball action on Monday at 6 p.m. when the Oregon State Beavers take on the Washington State Cougars. And that's right here on Prime Sports Northwest. I'm Don Poyer along with Chuck Nelson on a sun-drenched, beautiful afternoon here at Husky Stadium. Washington is looking rosier all the time for those Dogs now that they're up by 2 touchdowns with 8:55 remaining still in the first quarter, following an interception by Walter Bailey and a fumble recovery on the kickoff by Walter Bailey. Flag goes down as a fair catch is called on the 15-yard line.
Husky kickoff team offside by about 5 yards. Smart play by Arizona State to make the fair catch because they're going to get a choice here.
Yeah, they'll get a lot of yardage.
They will either take the ball to the 35 or make them kick it again.
Kicking team is offside.
Wasn't even close.
They'll be able to.
Jim Lambright, the defensive coordinator, who is also in charge of the kickoff team, won't be very happy. Those are one of those kinds of mistakes that you're just not paying attention. Coaches don't like that when you don't pay attention for some reason.
Well, they could gain a lot of yardage. Of course, it's not like when you kick it out of bounds. We shall see what they choose to do. Looks like they're going to kick again.
Moving back 5 yards, kickoff from the 30. Arizona State would just like to get the ball and be able to run a play.
Larry Marmee, he is a graduate out of Eastern Kentucky University, native out of Ohio. Graduated back in *65. He spent a number of years under John Cooper, including 3 at ASU as Cooper's defensive coordinator. And then when John went on to Ohio State, Marmee took over the job.
Was a popular choice at the time, has been under the gun significantly the last 2 years. The last 2 weeks, things have heated up a little bit with losses at home to Washington State and UCLA.
Yeah, they wanted their program cleaned up, and Marmee has done that. The graduate percentage is way up, clean program, but they're not winning as many games as the Sun Angels, their support group, and general fans in the Valley of the Sun want. Grab again. Looks like Galbraith will get the call. He will. Good kick all the way back to his 6. A little lane and gets up to the 30 where Walter Bailey again involved with the kicking game along with Leif Johnson. Leif Johnson, by the way, one of the leading tacklers on special teams for Washington. A 28-yard return by Kevin Galbraith. Another short drive, only 16 yards, following a 33-yard drive, Chuck.
14 points on 49 yards. Not a bad ratio, thanks to Walter Bailey and the Husky defense and the kickoff coverage team.
All right, 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. 2 receivers left. Well, we got 3 receivers now on the left side with the man in motion. And initially, the man who carries the ball, Kelvin Fisher, one of the captains on this team, the starting fullback, was hit at the line but was able to spin and pick up 4 yards.
A good, solid running back, 5'11", 222 pounds. You got to hit him hard to knock him down because there's not a lot to grab.
So it's 2nd down and 6. 2 wide receivers to the right side. Number 12, Eric Billiford, in the bottom of your picture. He's the man you got to look out for. On 2nd and 6, they want to carry the ball. They go outside. This is the new man, number 29, Jerome Davison, the junior out of Vallejo. And there is a lot of excitement about this man down in the Valley of the Sun. You can see why.
That's the right side of that Arizona State offensive line. You can see that they just seal it off. Davison is outside right away. Dana Hall able to come off the block and force Davison out of bounds. But once again, Davison is a big back, 6'1", 235. He's got a little bit of shifty to him for a guy on that side. You see the little limp leg hesitation move there.
Gain of 11 yards, Chuck. 1st and 10 now from the 49 of Arizona State. He's the man that Jim Lambright, the defensive coordinator for Washington's, worried about. Again, they go with the draw. Steve Empman, who's not fooled. Number 90, Shane Palcoa coming in. Also Brett Collins. Steve Empman now 2nd on this team with total tackles, coming in with 39 to Dave Hoffman's 41, who's a linebacker, of course. And they'll walk it against Arizona State. Some more illegal motion.
The Arizona State defensive line having trouble with the cadence of Billy Joe Hobert.
Illegal motion on the offense. The back was moving forward at the snap. 1st and 15.
Having trouble with the snap count on the offensive side of the ball as well. Man in motion has turned up a little bit early.
So it'll be 1st and 15, Charles.
You're going to have enough trouble moving the ball against this number 1 ranked nationally defense. They don't need the motion penalties and turnovers to make it any harder.
1st and 15. 2 wide to the left, Snyder wide to the right side. Spreading it out. Washington, everybody's up. There's only 2 people back wanting to throw. They try to go inside. Incomplete as they go for number 82, Eric Moss. And Powers' pass falls incomplete. Arizona State, the people on top. Powers in only 4 games. In fact, his career in passing of 5 games, he's already over 1,000 yards. And Montgomery, who did not make the trip, he's got the bad ankle. And Billiford coming off a great game against UCLA.
9 catches for 134 yards against UCLA. He's a guy that tried to get the ball to as much as possible.
2nd down and 15. Some different formations here by Arizona State as Snyder goes in motion. Powers, the pre-med student, in trouble. Down he goes. Andy Mason, one of the first to get to him. Number 13. Good heat by the Huskies. Tyrone Rogers in there along with Chico Fraley. So it will be 3rd down and long.
Play made by Steve Empman. Watch him absolutely bull rush. Split between Toby Mills and Tim Landers. Forces Powers out of the pocket into the waiting arms of Andy Mason, who says thank you very much.
Empman was double teamed, by the way, folks. That allowed Mr. Mason to get in there, too.
10 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks for Andy Mason.
3rd down and 17. 3 receivers right, including the running back. So there's 4 people over there for Powers to look at. Setting up the screen. Oh, my. Empman slowed him up with a great shot to the head. And then the pursuit came in. But chalk it up to the big 9-0 for making that play come to a halt in a hurry. Donald Jones finally with the tackle along with Tyrone Rogers.
For a guy that's 300 pounds, you can see how smart he is and how fast he is. He just stays with Landers and goes out on the screen, delivers the blow to Fisher. Once again, knocks the running back into the waiting arms of his teammates.
Steve Roush is the punter and the kickoff specialist as he goes to Bino Bryant, and he calls the fair catch at the 35. A 28-yard punt for Roush, who came into the game averaging just over 37 yards per boot. So Billy Joe Hobart, he is 2 for 2 today in scoring drives. Billy coming into this game nationally in passing, he is 21st in the country. Total offense, he is 24th. Mario Bailey 18th in receptions per game. So as a team, they are nationally ranked, and individually, of course, they're up there. Bino Bryant goes in motion on first down, wanting to throw. Bryant, they try to get him out in the open. Going against number 5, that being Michael Williams. That's something we haven't seen a lot of, Chuck, and that is getting Bino Bryant in the open field. As far as yards per game, we told you Washington almost up at 500. And Arizona State really struggling.
That Husky defense just gets so much attention, but that Husky offense also leads the Pac-10, and they're 5th in the country in total yards per game.
On 2nd and 6, a receiver right, 3 to the left. They go to Aaron Pierce, the tight end, first down. Excuse me, Pierce all the way down to the 43-yard line. And there's the man we talked about earlier. They're trying to get him more involved in the offense, and that's why a 17-yard gain.
Incredible amount of ability, a big, strong athlete, 6'5", 240, simply reads the zone, the blitz, gets the ball to Aaron Pierce, and lets him take some serious shots for Michael Williams and those Arizona State defensive backs, including linebacker Wallerstedt.
1st and 10 now from the 43. Again, trips to the left, they go with the draw to Bino. Gets through the first wave and is finally brought down by number 26, Adam Grass, along with Shante Carver. But not until Bino picks up another 8 yards.
Throw the ball successfully, you can run the draw successfully. Bino Bryant gets through the defensive line before they can come off the blocks and make a play. Dixon off balance from the very start of the play for Arizona State. Allowed Bino to pick up another 8 yards, set up a 2nd and 2.
He's averaging 6.5 per carry. 2nd down and 2. Not this time. Look out. It has number 6, Darren Woodson, the team's captain on defense, comes in with a TFL, and we have a flag down. It's like some motion on Washington. We will wait and see.
One area of concern for that Husky coaching staff this last week was penalties. The last 2 weeks, both California and last week against Oregon, way too many penalties, up over 100 yards.
Flipping against the offense, still 2nd down.
Holding was the primary call last year, or last week rather, a lot of them.
Get a chance again to see how the Huskies lining up against somebody as big as they are, one of the few times that they do.
Yes, but folks, can they move? That's the question. You can be big, but can you move? Are you fast?
See, that Husky offensive line average of 283 yards is brought down significantly by the 255 of Pete Caligas. You throw him out, and you've probably got 3 of the other 4 up around, up around or over 3 bills, and that's without Sipeli Malamala, who's out with a bad knee, replaced today by Pete Pearson, so you're losing 50 pounds in one guy.
2nd down and 15 after the clipping penalty. Everybody's out. 3 on the left side. They're going over to Mario Bailey, trying to get around the linebacker, but no way can he get away from Wallerstedt, number 44, the junior. Bailey coming off an outstanding performance, 108 yards against Oregon, his 5th 100-yard day.
Smart play by the Husky offense, though, not trying to get the 2nd long all back in one play. Get it to Mario Bailey, let him get you within a normal 3rd down range, in this case 3rd and 7, then take it from there.
They got about half of it. It's 3rd down and 8. Here comes Bailey in motion. He joins Gaspar down to the left side, laying it off. Bryant, not much there. It'll be 4th down, and this is a good defense as number 6, Darren Woodson, gets him out of bounds.
Particularly good defense when you give them 2nd and 18. Those clipping penalties will kill you, just like we've seen the last couple of weeks. That Husky offense hurting themselves.
Pass defense, yes, 2nd in the nation, or 2nd in the Pac-10, Arizona State. They are also 8th in the country.
Only giving up 149 yards per game through the air. That's some good defense.
You saw John Wardell, the punter. And Eric Gulliford will receive the boot. Wobbly punt and goes out of bounds. So Gulliford not a chance to get it. And probably that's all to the good. He's averaging over 8 yards per return. And the ball is marked right at the 15-yard line. So the job is done. 24-yard punt, but they've got the ball deep in Arizona State territory as Powers, 4.0 student, pre-med, just the opposite of Paul Justin, the quarterback, and not in terms of grades, but personality.
He's a real smart guy, just the opposite of that other guy.
Justin, the very outgoing, fiery type of quarterback. Powers more cerebral, quiet, letting his actions provide the leadership. On first down, they keep it on the ground as Fisher carries the ball.
Nice first down gain for Arizona State, though, backed up at their own 15-yard line. And they get up to the point where now they've got 2nd and 5. 5-yard gain on first down anywhere is pretty good, but this deep in your own territory gives you a little bit more breathing room.
Fisher averaging 4 yards per carry. He's got 3 touchdowns to his credit in 1991. As Chuck said, 2nd and 5. Again, this time Davison. And Jerome gets up about 1 yard or 2 short of the first down as Chico Fraley is one of the first to get to him. 4-yard gain, so it'll be 3rd down, and they call it 1.
The Arizona State offensive line's done a good job getting holes open for the running game so far today. Not exactly a powerhouse rushing offense, averaging 168 yards a game, 6th in the conference, but they've been effective so far today. It's when they've tried to throw that they've gotten in trouble.
Gulliford man-to-man against Dana Hall on the bottom of your screen on 3rd and 1. They're going to go to him. Knocked loose. Good play by Dana Hall. The stage was set. It was man-to-man coverage. Man, I wouldn't be trying that one against Dana Hall. I know you've got a lot of faith in Gulliford, but
there's that short passing game they needed to use. The ball is on target. Gulliford can't squeeze it on the first try. See, the ball kind of pops a little bit. Dana Hall is there quickly enough, not let Gulliford get it on the 2nd try.
The punt by Roush, very low. Bryant with a chance to return if he can find the lane. Looks like he's going up the middle. He returned one last year against Arizona State. Might do it again. No! Down to the 16-yard line is Bino Bryant.
Bino Bryant, one of the most dangerous punt returners in the country. Set up by the low punt, first of all, by Roush. Then Bino Bryant and friends do the rest. One-on-one with the punter, gets a little bit of help from his teammates, but Bino Bryant only averaging 8.2 so far this year, but anybody who's seen him return a punt knows that he can go at any time. Once again, great field position for the Husky offense.
34-yard return now on 1st and 10. Jay Berry, not much there. A lot of help now. Coming up, Justin Dragoo, number 48. Last year, Chuck and I sat there in amazement and watched him run, that being Bryant, run one for 82 yards on a punt return for a touchdown. And that was, in a sense, the arrival of Bino Bryant as a punt returner.
One of 3 that he had last year. He has 1 already this year.
Boy, as soon as that ball came off of Roush's foot, you thought, if he could find the initial fence, he's gone. 2nd down and 6. Bailey left, McKay wide to the right side. Billy Joe's going upstairs. Now he's got room to run. Referee got him away. Brian Hooks made the tackle, the linebacker from behind, but that referee flat out didn't know where to go. The umpire,
like a deer in the headlights, the referee didn't know which way to go to get out of the way.
Colin McDermott, the umpire, he didn't know where to go.
Does get a first down, though, does Billy Joe. You can see it's not a design quarterback draw, but the Huskies have the field spread out so wide that once he splits those offensive or defensive linemen, there's no linebackers in there to make the play.
1st and goal from the 8. Jones gets away from the initial wave, but Wallerstedt stays there and stays home to make the tackle. Wallerstedt, a good one.
He may not run down a lot of plays, not the fastest guy in the world, but once he gets a hold of it, you don't get away. Very, very solid tackler.
He was born in Seattle. 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter as Wallerstedt trying to slow things down here. His team's already down 14-zip. 2nd and goal from the 7-yard line. McKay wide right. Jay Berry squished by Wallerstedt again. along with Williams coming up from a strong safety. There's some serious popping going on down there.
Wallerstedt, one of the leading poppers. See, 77 total tackles. Also tied for the lead with Justin Dragoo. Interceptions for this Arizona State defense. He's been around a long time, been real solid for him. He's a junior, but seen a lot of playing time in his Arizona State career.
How many times do you see two inside linebackers with the most interceptions? 2 or 3. Pretty amazing. Hey, first quarter's come to an end. Brent Wallerstedt will go over and talk with Coach Larry Marmee and say, Coach, it's time to get us off the field and the offense on. 14-zip Huskies.
It's the biggest thing to hit the Northwest in a long time. Announcing the specially priced Rainier Light Beer 16-can game pack, complete with an offer for a limited edition pint glass, all you could ask for, in a new and somewhat larger size.
The exciting Seattle Supersonic. For ticket package information, call 281-5850.
Milgard windows are energy efficient, designed and built to last a lifetime. Milgard windows in vinyl, aluminum, and wood designs redefine a mastery of craftsmanship that people of the Northwest have appreciated for more than 30 years. And of course, Milgard windows enhance the beauty and enjoyment of your home. Milgard windows, guaranteed for life.
As the offense is trying to close in on a third touchdown today, I mentioned earlier who has the most touchdowns in one season. It belongs to Hugh McElhaney and also Chuck Carroll with 17. Mario Bailey has 11. And he is the inside man of the 3 split to the right side. Quarterback keeper, Billy Joe, cakewalk, touchdown Washington, all alone. His 4th via the ground in 1991. Good third down play.
The quarterback draw worked on accident down at the other end of the field earlier in this drive. Let's call it on purpose. See Pete Pearson, 71, doing a great job. Chris Rongen doing a great job. Billy Joe Hobart doing that mad dash.
Rongen with a nice block, number 72, really hanging up either Arthur Paul or Shane Collins on that particular play to turn that thing into an avenue, as Hanson's extra point is good.
Kick is good.
And Billy Joe is able to scamper in. 4 touchdowns notched on his belt as a rusher now, the leading quarterback for this Husky team. We'll be back in just a moment.
Thunderbird Discount Store in Delhi. Thunderbird Discount Store has thousands of items, all at discount prices. Come and relax in our comfortable sports bar, featuring big screen satellite TV to bring you any televised event.
Every Thursday and Saturday night features dart tournaments, 100% added. Happy hours are Monday through Friday from 4 to 7, and every week during the Seahawks game.
Thunderbird Discount Store and Sports Bar. 72nd and Waller Road in Tacoma.
When it comes to John Deere lawnmowers and tractors, Sumner Tractor has offered the best in selection, service, and parts for over 30 years. Sumner Tractor is proud to announce the opening of their new store, I-90 Lawn and Tractor, just 5 miles east of Issaquah. Both stores offer a great selection of John Deere lawn products and an experienced staff to help you. Right now, all John Deere lawn equipment is on sale, and 10% down buys you anything in the store. I-90 Lawn and Tractor and Sumner Tractor, the tractor people. Shop us last, and you'll see we offer the best in price and service.
Whether you drive a big car, a little car, domestic, import, truck, van, or RV, there's a powerful Titan battery to get you where you're going. And with Titan's nationwide warranty service, you can always be sure of getting back. Trust Titan, the strongest name in batteries. Save on powerful, dependable Titan batteries at your nearby Titan dealer.
Second quarter, Washington took 4 seconds to score on 3rd and 5 to make it 21-0. Now, get your pen and paper ready, because here's a great offer you won't want to miss. The Don James Golden Medallion Collector's Package with an exclusive invitation to a private party with Husky football greats. Write this number down to get more information on this great package commemorating Don James, the Pac-10's most successful football coach. 14:56 remaining second quarter, and as I said, it's 21-0. Powers now passing 1 for 4. Let's see how he does now. Look out, now they've got to get the ball back on the goal line, and he is brought down. Number 28, the ball carrier, Harold Smith. Springstead, number 49, in there on the play, along with Charleston Grimes. Now, first quarter, as you see, yards passing, a -5, rushing, but Washington really not that many yards, but they got 21 points on the board. That's because of those turnarounds and takeaways. A very short drive, 16 yards, 33 yards. First and 10, deep. Nothing there. Dave Hoffman, number 54, one of the first to arrive.
Kelvin Fisher, the ball carrier.
Fisher had no place to go. Hoffman, the leading tackler, came in with 41 and 9 tackles for losses. And he picked another one up there, as you see. He's on top. Sacks, those belong to Jones and Emtman, and interceptions, Bailey now with 5. One today. Second down and 13 after the loss of 3, thanks to Dave Hoffman's efforts. What do we have? Timeout? It's been a nightmare so far for Powers and ASU.
Compare the starting points of the two offenses. Washington's 3 scoring drives of 33, 16, and 18 yards. 67 yards, 21 points on the board. Arizona State, on the other hand, has started their drives from their own 7, their own 15, their own 35, their own 22. The strength of this Arizona State team is its defense, and the Arizona State offense and special teams, via the turnovers, have taken that strength out of the game.
Looking at the remainder of the schedule for 1991. Of course, we go to Los Angeles and then Oregon State and then home to Washington State. I worked out the point system this week in regards to who would go to the Rose Bowl. Should Washington State, or rather Washington, lose a game? Well, comes down to it, if California wins the rest of their games, UCLA wins the rest of their games, Don James and the Huskies could afford to lose 1 game, because in the point system they would come down with 37 points. UCLA would have 34 because of their loss to Tennessee. You get 3 points for a non-conference win. And Washington would tie with 37 points with Cal, but Washington beat Cal head-to-head. So Huskies have a little bit of breathing room. Figure that one out, folks.
Sounds like the hockey playoff system.
That's right. Second down and 13. Powers is going to throw out of the end zone. Can't get to the man. Dana Hall defending against Snyder, or rather number 82, Eric Moss, the senior, out of Anchorage. Look at Steve Emtman. He's out there. They're out in the flat, and he's a defensive tackle. So it'll be third down and 13, as Emtman continually is mentioned as really the only defensive player mentioned in the Heisman Trophy race, rightfully so.
I was talking before the game with one of the local riders here in Seattle who has a Heisman vote. He says Emtman will be his vote thus far.
Third down and 13. They'll keep it on the ground and just play it safe, and Fisher has nowhere to go. As Emtman, Donald Jones, Hillary Butler, everybody there. No gain.
It's hard to play it safe when you're running it at number 90 in purple.
He's having another stellar performance today, putting one on. Roush now is going to have to punt out of the end zone.
You can see he just closes down the gap. Tim Landers, number 74, the offensive tackle, can't stop him.
Block was on, and Roush was able to get it away. Here comes Bino. He's on his own 41. and slips at the 42. Good job by Roush getting it out of there. 35-yard punt and a loss of 2 yards on the return.
The block was on, so Bean O'Brien doesn't have much help. But once again, the Huskies offense comes on the field and takes over the ball in Arizona State territory. This offense is too good to give them that short a field.
Huskies with 99 total yards to Arizona State's 14. 19 yards rushing and a -5 passing. That's for ASU. Ball's on the 42-yard line. 3 wide receivers to the right side. Nobody in the backfield. Billy Joe going upstairs. Bailey. Oh, my goodness. You will not see that very often. Got to wonder if Mario saw Adam Brass coming over ready to nail him.
2 things on his mind there. Billy Joe Hobart, simple 7-step drop, throw the post route. Mario Bailey's thinking 2 things right here. I see 26. And he's thinking, what move am I going to make on this guy? You can see he starts to throttle down a little bit. A, to avoid Adam Brass, and B, to set himself up for the move. You got to catch the ball.
First incompletion for Billy Joe. He's 6 of 7, 45 yards. 2nd and 10, they lay it off. Jones. It's that effective little layoff pass to the fullback, and it works doggone well. Shane Collins makes the long run over to make the tackle, the defensive tackle.
Try to get
5 yards.
Try to get everybody thinking this way. Dump it back off to Matt Jones. Been an effective receiver, averaging over 10 yards per catch.
Yeah, he had 10 receptions coming into this game. Both of these teams like to use their fullback that way. Calvin Fisher, he has 12 receptions. 3rd down and 5. Again, trips to the right side. Curtis Gaspard in there. Now Jay Barry in the backfield. Tight end is to the left side. Looks for the quick where the pass goes to Mario Bailey down to the 30, the 25, down to the 20, inside the 20 to the 15-yard line. First down, Washington. Adam Brass makes the tackle, number 21. Michael Williams in there as well, but not until Mario picks up some big yardage.
Certainly a guy you can go to get a first down. 77% of his catches in his career have gone for first down yardage. You see, he's got some pretty good leg strength there, trying to get out of the grasp of Adam Brass. It's nice to have a guy that you can feel comfortable with going to. When they throw it to him, odds are he's going to get more than enough yards.
Well, it looks to me like it was man-to-man, isn't it? When you've got a man following him that quickly. And the Huskies took advantage of it. 1st and 10. Across the middle, Bailey! Touchdown, Washington! Touchdown pass.
Look at all those Arizona State Sun Devils coming. A read by both Billy Joe Hobart and Mario Bailey. They read the blitz.
Oh, what a catch.
Throw it out there. Mario Bailey beats Gene Boyd, and it's 7 more for Mario Bailey and the Huskies. 12 touchdown catches on the year for Mario Bailey.
And he just keeps setting that school record every time he makes a touchdown reception. And the Huskies, really much to my surprise, have blown out Arizona State. And again, field position has had everything to do with this. The nice thing you like to see is that Washington has taken full advantage of that field position. Hobart 9 of 10. We'll be back in just a minute.
It's the biggest thing to hit the Northwest in a long time. Announcing the specially priced Rainier Light Beer 16-can game pack, complete with an offer for a limited edition pint glass, all you could ask for, in a new and somewhat larger size.
The Ford Explorer has been a runaway bestseller ever since it was introduced. One reason? It has room in the back for all this gear. And with V6 power, 4-wheel drive and rear anti-lock brakes, it'll get you up a mountain and down again. This Explorer also comes with practically everything but ski boots. And best of all, it has room inside for you and a bunch of big friends. Come on, guys, let's go. Newly, get over here. Come on, let's get it. Come on. See it at your local Northwest Ford dealer. Fritz, you drive.
So waiting for? The Horizon Shuttle has flights every hour between Seattle and Spokane. The Horizon Shuttle. Why wait for anything else?
For the best coverage of Pac-10 football, turn to Prime Sports Northwest on Monday nights at 8 o'clock when the Oregon Ducks meet the Stanford Cardinal. I'm Don Poyer along with Chuck Nelson, and it's been all Washington. Total offense for the Huskies, 141 yards to go with their 28 points. Arizona State with 14 yards, and Jason Crabb busy working. Back awaiting his kick is Kevin Galbraith, number 34. Galbraith averaging almost 18 yards per return. Let's see if he'll get it this time. No, he won't. Fumble now. The Huskies will have it, I believe. Oh, my goodness. The roof is coming down on the Sun Devils.
Dana Hall in the right place at the right time.
Boy, that was a gift. That was a silver platter offering by Arizona State.
The high pooch kick by Jason Crabb. You got three guys back there for Arizona State. Nobody's sure what's going to happen.
David Walsh was the linebacker, Chuck.
David Walsh is the guy that tries to make a play on it. Takes it away from Harold Smith, number 28. Dana Hall just in a full sprint on his coverage lane. The ball just laying there. The Huskies take over once again. Deep in Arizona State territory.
1st and 10 on the 12-yard line. Darius Turner with the carry, the backup fullback who played ahead of Matt Jones last year. He gets 3 yards. Darius pumping it up, 224 this year. Pretty good average per carry, just not that many opportunities because of that back injury earlier in the year. Boy, if you're an Arizona State defensive player, you got to wonder what's it going to take just to get a glass of water. 2nd down and 7. McKay wide to the left, the only wide receiver. Jay Barry looks for the seam behind Lincoln Kennedy. Got there a little bit ahead of Lincoln.
He's looking for the seam behind Lincoln Kennedy. Unfortunately, Lincoln Kennedy was behind Jay Barry.
Gain of only 1 yard. Brett Wallerstedt there for the hit.
You can see that a couple of guys are scoring an awful lot of points.
Spreading the wealth. Well, you add along with that, Bino, he's got 5 touchdowns. The surprise is that at tight end, Aaron Pierce has no touchdowns this year. 3 wide receivers left. McKay, Barry, Gaspard, keeping it on the ground. Jay Barry, and they keep trying to bang holes into that big wall of Arizona State. Looking at 4th down.
It is not 4th and goal. It is 4th and
they can get down to 2.
The big boys are coming in. Second, Mark Kroner, the number 2 tight end. Darius Turner, another fullback. You can see Eugene Harris, number 41, getting some time early.
James
line up at the flanker.
James on 4th and 2 brings in the artillery. Billy Joe still with it. Now he's in trouble. Got to find a man. Incomplete. Felipe Sparks knocks it away. You know, you had to wonder if something was going on because instead of Leif Johnson in at that wing or power position, they had a number 41, Eugene Harris.
This play is designed to fool people, not necessarily take this long to develop. You can see Harris appears to be open. Felipe Sparks comes in as he can do and makes the play. Billy Joe thinks he's got 6.
You had Darius Turner and Eugene Harris too close to each other. And you kind of had to wonder because Johnson wasn't the lead block. And here came Harris. And we saw what happened. Up the middle as Arizona State just trying to get some real estate and some working room. They go to Kelvin Fisher.
The Huskies for the first time failed to capitalize on that field position that Arizona State's been absolutely gifting to them. That's the key. Last week we saw Washington with some good field position against Oregon, and we're only able to come out with 3 points at a time. If they had been able to punch some of those in, it might have been a different ball game early.
2nd down and 8 for the Sun Devils. Again on the ground as Jerome Davison carries. And James Clifford, number 53, in on the tackle. Clifford with a good year coming in and backing up Dave Hoffman. He has 20 tackles
Well, you talk about depth being one of the strengths of that Husky defense. When you've got a backup defensive linebacker, an inside linebacker who was at one time the leading tackler in the Pac-10.
Washington, by the way, at about 28% as far as allowing teams to convert that third down play. Here comes the heat by Dunaka Smith. They hit Gulliford for the first down. William Doctor on the play defensively along with Shane Paukoa. Gulliford, very good wide receiver.
Here come the Huskies, and Powers does a good job once again. Just that quick drop, quick release. Gulliford this time hangs on to the ball. See, Gulliford fakes the outside move. William Doctor takes it, gets in between the safety Paukoa and the cornerback William Doctor. First down, Arizona State.
First and 10 from the 21. Little toss sweep, trying to go to Davison. Get some good yardage close to the first down. William Doctor knocking him out of bounds. He is going to be a tough character to deal with in the future.
Only a junior. Coaching staff at Arizona State likes him. They like his toughness. You can see how well blocked this play is. Number 75, Mike Ritter, seals off Paukoa before he can step up into that hole, and Davison gets into that defensive backfield.
Second down, they only need one. 3 wide receivers right. And they stay on the ground again, and as they power their way, it looked like it was Fisher. And he'll be close to that first down. Now they give him 2, so it should be a first down.
Got some big running backs back there for Arizona State. 235, Davison. Fisher is 2 1/4. So you've got some guys that don't need a whole lot of open space in order to make some yards, and that offensive line has provided them with enough open space. Arizona State, a couple of first downs in a row.
6 carries, 10 yards for Kelvin Fisher. First and 10 now for Arizona State. They trail 28-0 here in the second quarter. They go with the draw. Number 3, Jaime Fields, not fooled at all. Neither is Dana Hall. Nice play by Jaime of staying home and reading it out. Tommy Smith there to help out too.
Man in motion. Davison leaves up. Fisher leads over. Jaime Fields just waits. Everybody pulling and turning up field. Nobody taking the man at the point of attack.
Jaime with 20 touchdowns coming in. 8.5 behind the line of scrimmage. Has got an interception. 4 sacks. Second down and 12. Snyder goes in motion, number 84. Powers one to the throw. Heat from behind. Ball knocked away by James Clifford and Dave Hall. And then there was heat from behind by Donald Jones.
Good time early for Powers. Enough time to get it off before he takes the shot. But he waits a little bit too long. Snyder drifts too far inside. Gets into Clifford's territory. You can see Jaime Fields with the shot to the back.
I correct myself. I said Donald Jones. It was indeed Jaime. And Clifford on the play on the other end. Third down and 12. In motion. Another receiver. They get it over to the tight end. Incomplete to Brasher. Number 46. And Dave Hoffman defends. So Clifford and Hoffman, 2 very, very good friends, very much involved in that series defensively. It's 4th down. The Huskies do the job. Time for Steve Roush to punt the ball.
And more important for the Husky fans, time for Bean O'Brien to return it.
Nice punt. Deep. Bean O'Brien back to his own 28. And great coverage by Arizona State. Flag down. Too much mischief going on out of bounds on that 46-yard punt. Number 19, Larry Marmee Jr. is the man who got him out of bounds.
No second helpings at home for him tonight.
No.
First down.
And it is against Arizona State, as we said. Yeah, no helpings, second helpings for Larry Jr.
Marmee, number 19, number 35, Rathan Smith. He's out of bounds. Let him go. Yeah. Little extra shove into the track. Great punt from Roush. Goes wasted because of the 15-yard penalty.
Good point.
Long punt, high punt, and just as important, the ball was out on the boundary.
It's called frustration for your team and for your dad.
Got to Take advantage of those special teams plays when you make them. Don't give them back with stupid penalties.
7:15 remaining in the second quarter. It's 1st and 10 with the ball on the 38-yard line after the penalty. As Darius Turner goes in motion, Bino Bryant trying to slant off to the right side. Justin Dragoo, though, makes the play. Spelled D-R-A-G-O-O. He is a redshirt freshman out of Napa, born in Seattle, but now from Napa at 6'4", 229. Just a youngster.
2 interceptions last week in that comeback attempt against UCLA. 3 for the year.
No gain. 2nd down and 10. Turner still the fullback. Too close. Pat Mason, number 94, trying to get the jump on Ed Cunningham. And
looks like Halloween has hung around a little bit for Pat Mason.
Got the old glare, little stripe look with the glare. You got Sting playing nose tackle.
Defense.
You're so contemporary, Don.
Five penalties for 35 yards on the Sun Devils.
You got to look at his quickness, though. There's a little two-step, the old 5-yard two-step by Pat Mason.
2nd down and 5. What do you tell somebody when you see makeup like that under their eyes? You're not going to say, you know, that looks silly.
Not at 290.
2nd down and 5. There goes Turner in motion. McKay to the top of your screen. Bailey at the bottom. They go to Darius. Little draw, but he is brought down by number 93, Arthur Paul, who is a senior out of Washington, D.C.
Nice play by Paul. You see number 93 going to come off the block of Chris Rongen, step up inside. Rongen's got to get his footwork down, get inside, forced Arthur Paul to stay outside. 290 pounds of Arthur Paul can take up a lot of space.
Bino Bryant, the ball carrier. 3rd down and 6. Or rather 3 of 6 on the conversions. 3rd down and 3. Bino again, and he's got the 1st down and into Arizona State territory. Tackle by Darren Woodson, the outside linebacker.
Coaches love to see that when you can line up at 3rd and 3 and just run a simple dive play and get the 1st. They keep those drives alive. When you've got the lead, look at that hole. The speed of Bino Bryant gets up into the hole before Woodson can close from the outside.
Bino got 6 yards on the play, so it's 1st and 10 from the ASU 49. 5.5 minutes left, first half. Bino trying to get outside. He does. Gets around Arthur Paul, but Darren Woodson, number 6, was the man who made the play. 4-yard gain. Huskies kind of settling things down as Woodson made the tackle. He's keeping it on the ground, grinding it out. Let that clock run and run and run.
Most field they've had to cover to score. They'd be 10 yards deep in the end zone on most of their drives so far.
2nd and 6. Turner fights for the 1st down. No, can't do it. Had to get inside the 40. Woodson again involved in the tackle. 4-yard gain, so it'll be probably 3rd and 2. Yes, it will. Clock continues to run. 4:42. Washington coming in here as far as yardage they're averaging on the ground. Very well balanced. 244 yards on the ground, 243 in the air. 3rd down and 1, they call it. And it's a 1st down for Turner and company. And I talked to Keith Gilbertson this week, the offensive coordinator for Washington, and I talked about this balance. And he says, it's totally by accident. He says, we just take what they give us, and it happens to work out that way.
You look at the percentage of plays run, pass versus run is almost identical also, just barely in favor of the pass.
5-yard gain by Turner. 1st and 10 from the 36. We're going for all of it. Billy Joe going deep. McKay, no. Broken up by Sparks. They were testing Arizona's best on that play. Felipe, one of the top-rated prospects for NFL football next year.
Some of the rating services have him rated as the 8th best player in the country at any position. Orlando McKay can outrun most people, but the ball is slightly underthrown by Hobart. Sparks can make up enough ground as McKay has to wait for it. That ball's thrown to the back part of the end zone, and Orlando McKay is the only one that's got a chance to go get it.
Yeah, he had him beat. He had the leg on him. 2nd down and 10. Still continuing with the pass. That ball may have been tipped. He was trying to lay it off to Turner, and Someone might have gotten a mitt on it. Jeff Woodruff, you saw in the background, he's quarterback coach.
On that play, I think Woodruff put three fingers down for the changeup from Hobart.
Yeah.
Pulled the string on that one.
Jeff next to Coach James. Jeff, of course, son-in-law to Don James. 3rd down and 10. Keep it in the family with that James group, I tell you. 3rd and 10. All 3 wide receivers right side. Billy Joe pumps once. Trying to go deep. McKay's got it. Touchdown. No! They say he hit his knee on the 1-yard line. That time he wasn't going against Sparks. 35-yard play, though, to Orlando McKay. Little punt made all the difference in the world.
The old out and up, just like in the front yard. Gene Boyd, a safety, strong safety, doesn't have the speed to keep up with McKay. Pump fake there, and McKay turns it up and goes. You can see, once again, a little wobble on that, but this time it's in the air long enough for McKay to make a play on it. Has to go to his knees to secure the catch. He's thinking, I could have had 6 there.
1st and goal from the 1. Turner and Berry in the backfield. Berry's going to get the call, but not the TD.
Jay Berry, the ball carrier.
The man defending against McKay was Gene Boyd, number 20. He is really their specialist, you might say, against the run as a strong safety. And they bring Michael Williams in to normally, he's the stronger of the 2 against the pass. And in this case, they got the mismatch. McKay against Gene Boyd. 2nd and goal from the 1. This is the 11th play of this drive. Only 3 minutes remaining. Turner hit hard. This one ain't going anywhere. This defense is tough in short yardage.
Like we said, those Husky coaches were concerned about the penetration, the push of those big defensive linemen. You can see the Husky offensive linemen are not driving anybody downfield. You've got a lot of Sun Devils in the Husky backfield. See, here's the line of scrimmage. All the action's taking place on the Husky side of the ball.
Kendall Ryan was the first to get there, number 25. It's 3rd down. They lost 2. 3rd and goal from the 3. Leif Johnson in motion. They fight their way back down. It's going to be 4th down and goal.
Jay Berry trying to sneak it over and get the extra credit there.
They're going to kick a field goal.
28-0. Go ahead and kick another one. Make them score one more time to catch us. Make sure we get something out of it. We've gone too far.
They had 4th and short earlier and gambled. And they're saying this is crazy. Let's kick a field goal and get our defense on the field.
What this also does is it gives Travis Hansen short shot, 19-yarder, 18-yarder from the middle of the field. Get his confidence level up one more notch.
From 18 yards out, and it's a chip shot. Travis Hansen now 6 of 10 for the year. And that's coming off those 3 field goals last week against Oregon of 44, 28, and 33. An 18-yarder today, and that puts the Huskies on top. Well, they beat the point spread so far. We'll be back. Minute 42 remaining here in the first half. Crab's kick. We go to Galbraith. That's Felipe Sporks. Now they've put him back into the ball game and gets up to the 28. Still going and fights his way to the 31-yard line. Felipe Sparks, who's had only 1 kickoff return prior to this game, comes up with 21 tough yards on that return. Talented young man out of Phoenix. Played at Glendale Community College before he came over to Tempe. He looks like he might have hurt a wheel, too. Just what you like to see. Your ace, you pop him in there for a kickoff return and then hurts himself.
Showed a lot of slippery there.
1st and 10. Ball on the 31-yard line for Brett Powers and the Sun Devils, and they want to go deep. They've got a man, Gulliford, but thrown well behind him and defended by Dana Hall, number 5.
Gulliford, a guy that Powers likes to get the ball to. You see here, he's not getting the ball to anybody very well. Gulliford has 10 consecutive games of 3 catches or more. So not only is he around all the time, but he's around and productive all the time. Gone over 100 yards 8 times.
He had a 59-yarder against Southern Cal, too. 2nd down and 10. 2 wide to the left, 1 wide to the right. And And they're going upstairs all the way now, and that certainly makes sense as they try to lay it off to Kelvin Fisher, and Chico Fraley saying nothing doing.
Arizona State certainly not afraid to put the ball up a lot. Threw it 48 times last week against UCLA. This time the ball's delivered well. Chico Fraley just does a perfect job of knocking the ball out. Goes upfield, knocks it out before man can tuck it away.
Even with his injury to that right hand, well, that was textbook defense there. 3rd down and long. They need 10 yards. And from the shotgun is Powers. Here comes the heat. Trying to go to Fisher, and nothing there. Brett Collins defending, and Powers is slow getting up. And I don't blame him. That's not the face of a happy quarterback.
You see a whole flurry of purple coming. There's Tyrone Rogers. Donald Jones. DeMarco Farr at the bottom.
Time to punt. Steve Roush. Minute 17 remaining. And Napoleon Kaufman back to receive. Bad punt. Low and wobbly away from Kaufman. And I think he better get away from it than he does. He was thinking about it, wasn't he?
You know, it took that big pounce, and he was trying to sneak a peek and see if he could split some people.
There was a little hitch in his get along there, like, maybe I can. 37-yard punt by Roush, right on his average, and Kaufman unable to return it. Powers may have twisted an ankle on that last play when several people rushed on him.
Not easy to stand back there for a half and take the shots that he's taking.
They're going to start measuring that in mileage. They've got a great shot at easily beating last year.
The Huskies are on a pace to gain 5,300 yards, which would break the old record by 900 yards.
This is Jay Berry, who gets up to the 36-yard line where Brett Wallerstadt makes the tackle. Jay Berry, more and more earning that respect as a very tough, strong running back, much like a Greg Lewis from last year. 2nd and 5. They lay it off to Kaufman. Won't get the first down as Wallerstadt was there to meet with him again. Clock is stopped. 3-yard gain. Woodson in there also, number 6.
Huskies called timeout, working their clock plan offense a little bit, getting a chance to work the 2-minute drill. Might need it somewhere down the line.
Big week next week down at Southern Cal, and I guarantee you the Trojans could be 0-8 going into that game, and the Huskies will get their toughest game of the year.
Always tough to go to the Coliseum and play. You know they've got some great athletes down there, even if they're not winning ball games. Very similar to UCLA last year. They might not be winning every week, but they've got some guys that can play, and every now and again they're going to make some great plays.
And if they come in inspired, there's nothing more frightening than inspired great athletes as opposed to disillusioned or unhappy. Hobart now 12 of 16, 130 yards in the first half and 2 touchdowns. A lot of players would like to go away saying that was their entire day. Many. Oh, the disparity is amazing. 3rd down and 2, 38 seconds remaining, first half. All 3 wide receivers to the right. Billy Joe. McKay has the first down at midfield. He is tackled by number 5, Michael Williams, the senior out of Cleveland, and is the nickel defender. No huddle. Clock is stopped to bring the chains on closer to the lake. 1st and 10. One crank goes over the middle. Nobody there.
Mario Bailey and Billy Joe Hobart in the same book, but on a different page.
Boy, you hear the stir in the crowd too, Chuck, like, what is he doing?
Mumble, 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 mumble. Mario Bailey, the inside receiver, number 5, breaks it to the outside. Billy Joe Hobart thinks he's going to continue down the hash. Nobody with a play on that ball but Adam Brass.
That stopped the clock with 25 seconds in the first half. 2nd down and 10. Ball right on the 50-yard line. Hobart, tight end. Pierce can't hold on. Boy, you knew you'd get hit by about 3 people, and it was a matter of whether he could hold on to it or get a handle on it before the impact. Adam Brass, the first one there.
Perfectly thrown ball right in between everybody. He's got a hold of it, but Brass comes over and puts a lick on Aaron Pierce, and the ball comes out.
Billy's always good for a reaction. You ever known that?
Never take the camera off of him. He's going to let you know what he's thinking.
We have a penalty against Washington, and it was holding, the preliminary indication.
Holding on the offense. Repeat second down.
So they will back it up into Husky territory. The ball was right at the 50 for Don James.
It's nice to have a tight end like Aaron Pierce that can go deep like that. Has to hang on to the ball when he gets his chance, though. You can see that coach's frustration.
Well, you know, some coaches will say that's insane. Some coaches will say if those are honest penalties.
Depends what type of penalties you've got, but the Huskies are excessive celebration and personal fouls, just non-thinking penalties.
2nd and 23. Little heat now by Arizona State on the throw to Darius Turner, but good pressure by Arizona State in the backfield. That was Arthur, or check that, number 95, Brian Hooks, trying to get to him.
Pete Pearson, number 71 for the Huskies, replacing Mala. Just doesn't quite get upfield far enough to keep Hooks out of the face of Billy Joe Hobart. Hobart does a good job of avoiding a loss. Pearson's done a good job so far.
Mala with a banged up leg too last week. 3rd down and 23. That was because of the holding penalty. Going deep. Bailey, what a hit. An incredible hit. Mario Bailey gets up after Kevin Minifield tattoos Bailey from behind. Clock is stopped with 2 seconds.
We've seen some hits get the ball out, but Mario Bailey does a great job taking the shot from Minifield. Does a good job, first of all, of getting his body between Minifield and the ball. Then
he knew it was coming. I think he was probably saying, are we back in Boulder again playing Colorado?
Took some shots last year in that Colorado game in that big attempt to score the winning drive. Missed some time in the last couple of plays that was crucial. Held on to it there.
He knew it was coming too. I mean, that's a sign of a very good athlete. You know it's coming, and Mario is able to wrap his arms around it. Just the opposite of what Aaron Pierce was trying to do on that pass to the tight end. Couldn't get his hands around it in time for the big hit.
Minifield drove Mario so fast that the ball didn't have time to come out.
Yeah.
Mario's traveling faster than the ball. Got stuck against his chest.
Minifield, I'll tell you, there's nothing more impressive, though, than a great hit by a defensive back. Oh, 4th down. Huskies will see what they can come up with on 4th and 3. They're going to go for the end zone. That one's too far. Nobody then beyond the end zone, as Orlando McKay was the primary target. Orlando already with 1 touchdown reception today. The Huskies can go into the locker room feeling pretty good about themselves with a 31-0 lead over the Arizona State Sun Devils. We're at halftime and we'll return in just a moment. Coming into this ball game, for what it's worth, and if there were some numbers to compare, would be Washington total offense 243 yards to Arizona State 40, and that's with 2 very short scoring drives. That tells you how overwhelming Washington has been today.
Washington is up 21-0 after only 67 yards. With field position via the turnover and the special teams play, Arizona State fumbles a kickoff. Bino Bryant runs a great punt return back to the 16-yard line. Short drives. Washington State did a good job, or Washington, excuse me, did a good job of taking advantage of it.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights. First of all, it was a wonderful pass with heat, people in his face. Billy Joe finding Orlando McKay.
Does a good job. Takes a shot from Collins here. Delivers the ball. Nice catch by McKay. One-on-one. Runs the inside route. Makes the catch. Huskies up 7-0.
Jay Barry paid the price on this little lunge into the end zone, didn't he? Later, watch.
It's only 1 yard, but it's a 1.5 yards forward and then a 1.5 yards back. Huskies having some trouble in short yardage situations. Does a good job of getting the ball in the end zone. Wallerstedt stands him up, and then Sparks knocks him back down again. But no matter, touchdown Huskies.
Billy Joe got his licks in. This is his 4th rushing touchdown of the year.
Huskies had run a similar play accidentally earlier. Hobart had dropped back, found nobody, and found a wide open middle. This time they call the play on purpose. Hobart takes it in 5 yards, like you say, it's 4th of the year. He's a happy guy.
And then another nifty move, as I believe he's signaling up to the parents up above on the stands. This one goes to Mario Bailey.
A good read by both Billy Joe Hobart and Mario Bailey. Arizona State brings a lot of people, including the safety Williams. The middle is left wide open. Mario Bailey beats Gene Boyd. The ball's thrown out there where nobody but Mario can get a hand on it. It's touchdown again for Washington.
Now, Boyd's the man who's been beaten a couple of times today. An 18-yard field goal, by the way, by Travis Hanchin gave you 31-0 score. But again, 243 total yards to just 40 for Arizona State. The penalties, the turnovers, obvious. 3 of those, 2 of them in the first quarter, Chuck.
Well,
and the penalties.
Again, the Huskies did a good job of taking advantage of those turnovers and those penalties. Last week against Oregon, Washington had some great field position, was only able to get points 3 at a time and couldn't put the game out of reach. This week, they're able to get those field position turnovers in place and get touchdowns out of it, and the result is a 31-0 halftime lead.
Another interesting point in there in the stats was that Washington has held Arizona State on 3rd down conversions. They have been successful only on 1 of 6, that being Arizona State. Huskies came into the game giving up about 28% on those 3rd down conversions, so that's impressive to say the least, no matter who you're playing. All right, we'll be back with the 3rd quarter in just a minute here at Husky Stadium. Beautiful day. Even the yachts are out, and we'll be back with the next 30 minutes in just a minute.
College football this fall is on Prime Sports Northwest. You won't get any more anywhere. It all starts Friday with the ultimate insider's view of the weekend's wars. The Northwest Big Sky and Pac-10 Generals lay out their battle plans with the coaches' shows. Saturday kicks off with the Southwest Conference, and then College Football Today gets you primed for Prime Network's live Pac-10 Game of the Week. And you won't want to miss Pac-10 Preview with Don Poyer. Then get ready to rock. The Cougars prowl on Saturday night. Sleep in Monday, because Sunday you'll want to catch it all. The Western Athletic Conference at 9 o'clock and the Big 8 at 2 o'clock. Then it's the Beavers and the Huskies back-to-back. OSU takes the field at 5. And then the Rose Bowl champs play every game of the season on PSN at 8 o'clock. And Monday Night Football hits new heights when the Oregon Ducks join the flock on Prime Sports Northwest. Tuesday tops it all off with the Big Sky. This college football season, your teams score on Prime Sports Northwest.
Watch Husky basketball in the Doghouse. Experience great collegiate basketball action Wednesday, November 6th at 7:30. The Huskies take on Iceland, and you can go absolutely free. That's right, no charge. And this Saturday, before the Arizona State football game, you can tailgate with Lynn Nance and his team as they hold a free public scrimmage from 11 a.m. until 12 noon in Heckhead. Husky basketball season tickets are on sale. Call 543-2200 to reserve your seats in the Doghouse.
Here's your time remaining before we get things going again here in the 3rd quarter, as all the players have been escorted out. Now they go out through the tunnel of all the former players. I don't know if we get a, yeah, we need to get a shot of that. This is really homecoming in its essence. Show a wide shot, guys. You can see these are all former Husky players. Widen out if you can. I mean, this goes all the way to the 50, the far 25-yard line. See, this gives you some idea. Go all the way back to the tunnel now. Pan left. Here's your time remaining before we get things going again here in the 3rd quarter, as all the players have been escorted out. Now they go out through the tunnel of all the former players. I don't know if we get a, yeah, we need to get a shot of that. This is really homecoming in its essence. Show a wide shot, guys. You can see these are all former Husky players. Widen out if you can. I mean, this goes all the way to the 50, the far 25-yard line. See, this gives you some idea. Go all the way back to the tunnel now. Pan left.
Our producer director today is Don Poyer.
This is, yeah, no, this is the, well, see it now, it's broken up, but that tunnel goes all the way to the end of the field, and these are all former Husky players that come out with their blankets, like this gentleman. Hey, it's a great moment in Husky sports tradition.
Homecoming tradition here at the University of Washington. All the former players, when you graduate the university, get a blanket with a big W on it.
There's Don Dow. There he is. Look at that. Oh, just passed.
Lance Dotson, former Husky players. This is not Don Dow and Lance Dotson.
A lot of great. Tell you, there's a lot of famous people out on that field right now, let me tell you.
And the non-famous ones, too. It's a real special moment. I've had the opportunity to go down a couple of times, and it's kind of fun. You actually do get to see some people you haven't seen in a while. This close to this year's team a little bit. It's just kind of a fun thing to do, something I've never seen any other school do.
I remember sitting in this stadium when I was about 5 years old and seeing it for the first time, and I've never forgotten it. It is, like Chuck says, something very unique. And for the second year, TCI, Cablevision, serving Seattle, Tacoma, and Auburn, Prime Sports Northwest, Home Box Office, and Showtime have worked together to raise funds for the University of Washington scholarships through educational opportunity programs. And this year's fund drive raised a total of $10,000. And TCI, Cablevision, and Prime Sports Northwest wants to thank everyone, all of its customers and suppliers, for helping make all of this possible. Ready to kick off, Steve Roush, and the Huskies will receive their first kickoff of the day. Napoleon Kaufman thought he had it, Tommy Smith instead, and only gets out to about the 16-yard line. Huskies unable to cash in on that opportunity. The possessions for Washington, the worst they've had was their final one at their own 32-yard line. But when it comes to field position and starting drives, Washington has started at an average of the Arizona State 39.5-yard line. Arizona State has started their drives on an average of their own 19. So field position and turnovers have been everything in this game so far.
The Huskies did not capitalize on one drive that started at the Arizona 12-yard line.
On 1st and 10, Orlando McKay going up against Felipe Sparks, and McKay winning that individual battle. And it's good for a first down after the 16-yard gain against Sparks.
Fourth catch of the day for Orlando McKay. Just a simple three-step drop, run the out route. If the guy's going to give me that much room, we'll take what we can get. And Orlando McKay gets more than expected.
7 players received passes for the Huskies in the first half. 1st and 10. Bryant. Great play by the strong safety Michael Williams, who fought off the block by Turner.
Little hesitation on the part of Bean O'Brien. Got to cut up inside that block.
Well, again, this is why this team is second in the Pac-10 in total defense.
They've got some great players. They are very, very aggressive, and they've got some good athletes. Williams does a good job here of coming off the block of Darius Turner. Some guys get all hung up in the traffic there. Can't get away from the blocker.
Loss of 4, so it's 2nd and 14. Darius Turner, excuse me, on the quick hitter, but was really slowed down by David Dixon. Number 72, and Brett Wallerstadt came in for the kill. Gain of 3 yards.
See Washington atop the conference, only 223 yards per game given up. Arizona State second. So the great defensive plays that they've made are no surprises. They just had to defend such a short field. Give up 30 yards in a drive is usually okay, but here it gives up 6 points.
And the flags go down. And going deep is Hobart. Why not? As he tries to go against Orlando McKay, or find Orlando McKay, going against Adam Brass. But he has nothing to lose when he saw the flags go down, and white jerseys a little too close to the purple ones before the snap.
Defense offside.
There we go.
Doesn't matter. Once again, Billy Joe Hobart in that cadence plays tricks on the Sun Devils. Larry Marmee still not very happy. We saw that same post very early in the first half.
Marmee, it was felt, needed to win 7 games this year to hold on to his job. They think the world of this man down in Tempe because he has cleaned up that program, because the graduate percentage is much higher. But they want to win games, and he's not been able to do that for them so far. He's 20 and 19 overall. Hobart wanting to go deep. Got Bailey. Let's see if he stayed in bounds. Oh, my goodness, that was a thing of beauty to stay in bounds, make the catch, and have 2 people defending against him. Mario Bailey, you earned your scholarship on that play. And what a pass by Hobart.
Perfect throw right on the boundary. You can see Mario Bailey with the corner out. Look at those. That left foot does indeed drag. That takes Mario Bailey into 3rd place all by himself, all-time receptions at the University of Washington, passing Scotty Phillips. 112 receptions in his 4 years as a Husky.
1st and 10 on the 36 of Arizona State. This time they stay on the ground, and Bino trying to get around the corner. Tough doing, close to the first down. Man, there's some serious hitting going on. Adam Brass coming up from the free safety spot along with Felipe Sparks. But a gain of 9 yards. Watch number 31 on this block.
Same play we saw the other way. This time Darius Turner gets a shot on Michael Williams. Bino Bryant relying on his speed once again. He tried to rely on it going the other way earlier and couldn't get away with it. This time, Turner's block had Williams on his heels,
well,
and
you
he couldn't make the play.
Yeah, and you can't really tell, but from the side, he clobbered it. 2nd down and 1. Billy Joe going against the grain. Bailey! The 1-foot line. Mario Bailey had Felipe Sparks going in circles, likewise for number 26, Adam Brass. A 25-yard play. Watch Bailey.
Lots of mixed direction. Everybody over here to the left, throw back to the right. Mario Bailey's the only one that knows where the ball is. Makes the adjustment, fights through the left arm of Sparks. Hobert once again underthrows it a little bit, but Mario Bailey is able to make the adjustment. His knees are down, you can see on the 1-yard line. Mario Bailey looking for touchdown number 13 on the year, but somebody else will have to get it.
And on 1st and goal, it is a touchdown for Washington.
Darius Turner with his first touchdown of the year.
That catch was unbelievable as you see Turner go in for the touchdown.
Just ride that backside of Big Ed Cunningham, number 79, number 1 for last year's starting fullback.
That's 2 great catches, though, by Bailey today, where he's had to catch them, as you said, Chuck, when Billy underthrew him. Extra point is good, and Washington extends that lead 38-0. Darius Turner with his first 6. And another look at that catch by Mario Bailey from Billy Joe Hobert.
Any publication, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of Prime Sports Northwest is prohibited.
Jason Crabb back to kick, and Felipe Sparks, the man who was beaten on that 25-yard pass play to the 1-foot line, is back and has the ball. Had a good return earlier. Let's see what he does. He's up to the 20, and a host of Huskies wrap him up this time. And Brett Powers will try to get something going. A 13-yard return by Sparks. Powers 9 yards passing in the first half.
2 for 11 in pass completions and attempts. Not what he came off of last year. 17 for 26 in the 4th quarter last week against UCLA, but you can see he's been starting at his own end.
Best they've had is their own 34. 1st and 10 now. Ball on the 21-yard line in this case. They bring in an extra tight end as they go around to the outside, and a good play by Arizona State on 1st down as Jerome Davis tries to match speed with Shane Palcoa. Palcoa with the angle, but not until Davison gets 8 yards. When he's had the opportunity, Davison has been the one that's lit it up for Arizona State.
The Devils have on occasion sealed off the outside. That time, very, very nice block by Brian Ryder, the tight end, making room outside.
2nd and 2. Fisher should have the 1st down. He's got Tommy Smith on top of him. And he's got the 1st down with 12:06 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Washington with 1 touchdown on the drive of approximately 80 yards. But a 25-yard pass to Mario Bailey really was the key, getting it down to the 1-foot line. 1st and 10 now for Arizona State, still looking for points. And they try to give it to Davison around the corner, but Tommy Smith, Brett Collins, Chico Fraley, DeMarco Farr all over there to make him go OB. This is incredible. But this is the problem for Arizona State. If they can get an offense together, they're going to be a fine, fine team. Their defense is clearly good.
Much more optimistic with the return of Brett Powers, but he hasn't had many chances today.
2nd down and 12. They lost 2. Here comes the pressure. Andy Mason almost got to him. They go to the tight end, Bob Breischer, who is up to the 38-yard line. That's Brett Powers. 4 yards short of the first down. Brasher, a busy tight end. He had 11 receptions coming in for Brett Powers and Kurt Lasher. No touchdowns, and his longest play is 25 yards. Just a junior out of San Diego. And he will trade off quite often with Marquis Tucker and a couple of other tight ends. He used to have about 3 or 4 tight ends on this team. 3rd down and 4. 4 wide receivers. And they go to Snyder, who has the first down, but I think even with the backpedaling, he will have it as they mark it on the 44 of ASU. Shane Paukoa with the tackle. Snyder, a junior out of Fontana, California.
2 wide receivers to the left do a lot of crossing and rubbing off of each other. You can see that they kind of lose track of Snyder. Huskies a little disorganized before the snap on that play. Shifting late, not everybody sure where they're supposed to be.
On first down, they almost missed the handoff. Davison goes down, but the ball went out after he'd hit the turf. But another good first down play. Goodness, get this man the ball in the open field.
Another well-blocked play. You can see Andy Mason kind of stuck in between. He's not sure whether to go outside and take the outside guy. Ball handed off to Davison. Sneaks up underneath the outstretched arm of number 13, Andy Mason.
Arizona State with a little something going now. 2nd and 5 right at midfield. Davison again trying to pop it. He got to the final level where Shane Paukoa brought him down. Shane, the 3rd leading tackler on this team. 18 unassisted tackles of his 35 total coming into the game with a couple of interceptions.
Trying to fire up those up front people, get the job done against the rush. Arizona State has rushed effectively in this drive. 49 yards for the day, but the majority of that has come in this one drive.
1st and 10. Trying to get outside. Andy Mason is there, along with Tyrone Rogers. Jerome Davis, the ball carrier. Flag down, excessive celebration? No.
Andy Mason pulls out the 6 guns, and the official pulls out the flag.
That's the 5th tackle for loss today. Let's see. That's a quick trigger on the part of the referee if that was the call. Yeah, Todd's even.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct.
Oh, give me a break. Oh, my goodness sakes alive. Let's see it again. And Don can't believe it either.
He's just kind of excited about the play he's made.
That's a terrible call, Chuck.
Certainly no attempt to make anybody look bad. Just waving.
That's a terrible call. I don't care who's playing.
It may not be the call that's so bad. It may be the rule that's bad.
That's a bad interpretation of the rule.
It's a penalty that should not be a penalty, be it the official's judgment or the wording of the rule. But Don James, very, very influential in the rules committee.
I don't mind that rule. I really don't. I think there are times when that can be an appropriate call, but that was not. 1st and 10. Well, it woke up the crowd, if nothing else.
It also woke up that Husky defense more than a little bit.
Look at a referee with a,
getting his knee wrapped. He figures the crowd's pretty fired up now. He may have to make that man sprint off the field at the end of the game. You want to make sure that knee holds together.
All right.
3 touchdowns in the 2nd half for that Husky defense. Only 1 in the 4th quarter. Obviously only 2 then in the 3rd. They don't want to give one up now.
Boy, it's noisy out there now, Chuck. 1st and 10. Davison, nothing.
The Husky defense needed something to get them fired up. That may have been it.
Let's see who gets off the pile, along with Dave Hoffman. And I think that Husky defense just came alive. You're right, Chuck.
Might be easier to identify the people who do not come off the pile.
I'm seeing a lot more fists hitting shoulder pads and heads popping around a little bit more. Look at Chico in there.
A lot more talking in the huddle for that Husky defense. They say if Arizona State isn't going to get us fired up, we'll let the officials get us fired up.
Second down and 10. Dulliford goes wide to the right. He's the only wide receiver. Powers says it's too loud. Powers has the referees to thank for this. That was direct influence by the referees on this crowd have made it that much tougher on Arizona State. Period.
What appeared to be a break for Arizona State, the 15-yard penalty on the excessive celebration call has turned into a negative for Arizona State. It's gotten the crowd and that Husky defense.
I feel sorry for Marmeen. Makes it that much tougher.
You can't win for winning.
They've gone 46 yards. Keep up a lot of time. Second and 10. They'll try again. Nothing again. Kelvin Fisher. Andy Mason. And a number of Huskies. Fraley in there. You know they're playing good defense when my spotter, Katie Boyer, throws her hands up saying, there's 5 people hitting them at the same time. Dave Hoffman, one of the first.
Amongst them, you can say, just get into that pile and make everything move the other way. Here they go again.
Third down and 10. Here it comes. Very little. Heat was coming from behind. Might have lost one, in fact, as they go to Davison again. I was wondering when they try that, get him the ball in the flat and let him try to cause some damage.
Powers misread the Huskies on this defense. Forced to throw the ball off to Davison. He thought he had man-to-man coverage out here on the left side, but the Huskies shift over late. Go into zone. No choice but to dump it off for a 1-yard loss.
Timeout is called.
4th and 12 for Arizona State. They're going to call their timeout and think about it.
8:31, and we'll be back.
Nightlife. Nightlife and beer.
Gotta do it.
Okay. All right. Lonely nights and beer.
Yeah, lonely nights are cool. Oh, get this guy on the left. Hey,
Yo.
hey, buddy.
Hey, yo.
You want to help us out here? Hey, hey.
Nice going.
Okay, what about mannequins and beer?
Put down the camera and step over to the car.
Pretty cool, huh?
Fires up a 3. He got it! Eddie Johnson hit it from the top of the logo. The hottest ticket in town. The exciting Seattle Supersonic. For ticket package information, call 281-5850.
Watch Husky basketball in the Doghouse. Experience great collegiate basketball action Wednesday, November 6th at 7:30. The Huskies take on Iceland, and you can go absolutely free. That's right, no charge. And this Saturday, before the Arizona State football game, you can tailgate with Lynn Nance and his team as they hold a free public scrimmage from 11 a.m. until 12 noon in Heck-Ed. Husky basketball season tickets are on sale.
Coverage of Big Sky football turned to Prime Sports Northwest. That's this Tuesday at 6 to catch the Grizzlies against Montana State. That's on Prime Sports. Here we go. 4th down and 12. Arizona State and Brett Powers, and with absolutely nothing to lose, will go for it from the Husky 34-yard line. Snyder in motion. They need 12. DeMarco Farr on top of him. Incomplete. Washington ball. Credit DeMarco Farr with the pressure on Powers. Standing O by the crowd for the defense.
Number 75, DeMarco Farr beats number 75, Mike Ritter. Ball just outside the reach of Eric Moss. See a lot of traffic here on the left side. Dana Hall puts a shot on Kevin Snyder. Tommy Smith able to make the break. Ball out of bounds. First down for Washington, going the other way.
Well, if I was Larry Marmee, I'd be sending a letter to the Pac-10 officials come Monday morning.
Well, even when he gets a call on the excessive celebration penalty, it turns everybody against him.
Mark Brunell now in at quarterback for Washington. And they go with the draw to Jay Barry first play, but David Dixon, the nose guard, got an ankle. He is a senior out of Auckland, New Zealand. As Brunell comes into the ball game, his numbers: passing 11 for 21, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's completing 52% of his passes so far, and a high game of 93 yards, that being against Arizona. He is second down and 10 with 3 of his receivers to the left side, and he'll go upstairs. He lays it off to Barry, trying to get away from Shane Collins. He does. Finds a little seam. First down. Still going. No, he steps out of bounds on the 41. Oh, that was a thing of beauty, trying to tippy-toe along the sideline. Watch this.
Nothing complicated at this point. Just dump off the screen to the left to Jay Barry. Ed Cunningham. Chris Rogan out in front. Great running by Jay Barry. Then he takes a page out of the book of Madame Fifi's ballet school.
24-yard play. Shane Collins missed him. So he broke about 4 tackles. Just ran out of field.
Shows you what a multiple threat he can be. He's big enough and strong enough to run inside, but shifty enough to catch a swing pass out in the open field and still make people miss.
First and 10. Ball on the 41-yard line of Arizona State. All 3 receivers now come to the right side. Brunell, Gaspard. He's at the 35. Kind of waits to see who's going to go where. And Darren Woodson, number 6, makes the tackle in the meantime.
While he's waiting, those Arizona State defenders are getting closer and closer.
8-yard play.
You only got time for 1 or 2 moves, Mr. Gaspard, not 4 or 5.
Try and put your head down.
Nice throw by Mark Brunell. Ball on target. Gaspard not sure which way to go, so says, I'll just tuck it and dive.
Lenny McGill, the other tackler, along with Woodson. So from Brunell, it is second down and 2. Formation flip-flop. All 3 to the left side again. They'll keep it on the ground. Barry. And this time, number 97, Greg Cortis, a junior from Chicago, wraps his paws around Barry.
As we look at Mark Brunell, the final numbers on Billy Joe Hobert. We look at the numbers last year for Mark Brunell.
He had a
not
big
a bad
day.
ball game. Multiple threat Mark Brunell is as well. Billy Joe Hobert on the day, 17 of 24, 228 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Here's a big play. They got third down and 1, Chuck. And the ball is on the 32 of Arizona State. Bailey goes in motion. They'll throw for the yard. They got Bailey to the 20, 15, out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Boy, they are doing a great job of disguising where Bailey's headed.
Also doing a good job of mixing it up. 3rd and 1. And earlier in the ball game, they were just trying to pound it out. This time you get Mario Bailey. He's going to outrun Lenny McGill on a crossing route. Mario Bailey, you can just see the fire in his eyes when he turns the corner and can see the end zone. One of the best at getting the ball from the field into the end zone.
McGill playing for Felipe Sparks. He is not in there. Remember, he was hopping on one leg earlier after the 21-yard gain. The ball carried inside by Darius Turner, who's getting a pretty good workout today. He got a couple. It'll be second down. They can get a first down just inside the 1-yard line. 5:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Billy Joe's day, a good one, 228 yards. His high game is 283 in terms of passing. Turner now has 18 carries. Down to the knee goes McKay, down to the 5-yard line.
Passing to Orlando McKay.
Good for 4. They still need 4 more for that first down.
What you're doing, though, here is you're getting Mark Brunell a chance to run the whole offense. You're not just taking that 38-point lead and running dives into the line of scrimmage. You're getting your backup quarterback a full range of experience, although he did play all last year. Most of his action this year has been doing severe mop-up duty.
Well, they've also got Kaufman getting to play with the first unit. 3rd down and 4. Kaufman, the tailback, as Gaspard goes in motion. And Ed Cunningham doesn't snap the ball, even though people around him on both sides were backpedaling.
And 10 guys think it's on 1. 1 guy thinks it's on 2, but that one guy...
False start on the offense.
But the one guy is the guy that has the ball.
The one point I wanted to bring up about Kaufman, though, was in the past we have seen him play with maybe the 2nd or 3rd unit with the front folks, but now he's getting to run behind the 1st unit.
The 1st unit, including Pete Caligas, can see the all-time best in the bench press, lying flat on your back, pushing that weight straight up. 520 pounds. He only weighs 255, not too bad.
3rd down and 9. Across the middle, incomplete. As Michael Williams was defending. McKay, the intended receiver, they're calling it incomplete. And for a moment there, they were trying to argue the point that Williams had gotten his fingers under it, but that was not the case. So, in for his 2nd field goal attempt for Coach Don James is Travis Hansen. They mark it right at the 17-yard line, so it'll be a 27-yarder. Eric Bjornsson holding. Long enough, and it is good. So Travis Hansen with a 27-yarder, and he is now 7 for 11 for the year, Chuck.
Long way from that 2 for 7 at the beginning. 5 in a row for Travis Hansen.
41-zip, Washington over Arizona State, 3rd quarter. We'll be back. Pointed out, that's 5 straight for Hansen. High kick to the 22. And it's one of the up people collecting the ball, number 28, Harold Smith, who's one of the reserve cornerbacks. And so the pooch kick, to a certain extent, attempted. Collins with more injury problems. Last year, of course, he missed much of the year. It looks like it's another knee.
It could be a blow. The backup to Shane Collins, Ivory Urban, is also out today.
Yeah. 1st and 10 now from the 26-yard line. 4.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Huskies in the driver's seat with a 41-0 lead. They set up a little tight end screen. Now there's some good football by Jaime Fields. Single-handedly holds off a blocker and is able to get the man out of bounds. Tim Landers, the quick guard, was leading on the screen.
See the play, well conceived, roll to the right, throw it back. There's only one guy out there for Washington, but that one guy is Jaime Fields, and Tim Landers can't handle it.
Couldn't go out inside because Denonka Smith, 55, was waiting
Well, that's
for
what
him.
happens when you've got athletes up front. I mean, Denonka Smith is a defensive end. Here's a guy that's running outside. If Fields can hold the play up long enough, that pursuit from people like Smith who doesn't let the receiver turn back in.
Incomplete. Pass incomplete to number 87. That's Clyde McCoy, who has got only 1 pass all year. So it'll be 3rd down. Just a long day for Brett, who came into this game completing 59% of his passes and had 825 yards for the season. Now he is 6 for 17 rather, 6 for 17, only 26 yards. 3rd down and 7 as the wave shapes up here in Husky Stadium. And timeout by Powers.
It's got to be frustrating for Brett Powers. He started off great this year, starts the first 3 games, 2 big wins and a valiant effort against Nebraska. Then he hurts his shoulder and comes back, plays well last week in a loss. Come up here with a chance to look good against the #1 ranked defense in the country. Not going his way today.
4:22 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. We'll get back with Brett Powers and everyone else in just a minute. 3rd down and 7. Powers had called a timeout. 1 remaining timeout for ASU, which may be a moot point. Down 41-zip. 3 receivers right side on 3rd and 7 over the middle. Looking for one of the backup tight ends, number 89, Marquis Tucker. And And it'll be 4th down. Steve Roush back to punt one more time.
Well, how do you attack a defense like this? We saw Pete Caligas over 500 pounds in the bench press, but there's guys like that on both sides of the ball. Maybe not 500-pounders, but you got 14 guys on this Husky team that can bench press over 400 pounds.
Flag down, and Kaufman back to receive from his own 40. And slips. Gonna check that gentleman's shoes. He slips as much as anyone I've ever seen in Husky Stadium.
His feet move too fast.
They're just going so fast.
The turf. They don't have time to get all the way down to the ground.
Defense is offside.
Huskies 5 yards. It was 3rd and 4th and 7. 31-yard punt and an 8-yard return by number 8 Kaufman. And I would imagine they'll take the penalty and do it again. It'll be 4th and 2 by virtue of the 5-yard penalty, and Kaufman came into this game averaging 4.5 yards per carry from the line of scrimmage. And as far as returning punts, he'd only had 3 opportunities before this, but averaging 10 yards per catch as Kaufman is back to punt. He's on his own 20, averaging just over 37 yards. Low, good chance to run it back. He gets past the first wave. He does. Oh, my. Can he accelerate from the 30 right up to the 47-yard line in the blink of an eye. Rathan Smith, number 35, with the tackle.
Middle return is set up. Hillary Butler screens off number 61, and Kaufman just comes off his butt. Like you say, Don, it doesn't take him long to get where he wants to go.
Man.
He is as quick and electrifying as anybody they've ever had around here.
He did that return 16 yards without even taking a breath.
Talk about a combination of speed and strength. We know how quick he is. Look at those guns. Look at those forearms and those biceps.
1st and 10 with Joe Kralik wide to the right side now, number 9, and the fullback is Leif Johnson. Here's Kaufman. Got maybe a couple before Shante Carver moved in for the tackle, number 98.
Carver, a guy that we look for to make big plays, but that Arizona State defense has been on its heels all day.
Yeah, Carver's been a quiet man. He came in, as you talked about, with those 14 tackles for losses and 10 sacks. Just no opportunities today. 2nd down and 8 for the Dogs, and Mark Brunell in his 2nd series of this afternoon. Kralik and Damon Berry now wide to the right. They'll keep it on the ground. Here comes Kaufman again. Breaks 2 tackles and gets down to the 44-yard line, about a yard short of the 1st down.
A lot of backup players on that offensive line for the Huskies. You see number 60, Andrew Peterson gets his man in the backfield. There's Joe Kralik doing a good job, number 9. His wide receivers get a chance to throw some blocks every now and again.
Tripping him up was Justin Dragoo.
It's more important than people think, too. You're going to break a big gain on a running play. Those wide receivers have got to get their guys out of the way.
3rd and 2. Kaufman with the call again. 2nd effort will still not get him there. Looks like he's about a half yard short. Wallerstedt preventing him from getting the 1st. Plain and simple. Go for it.
Certainly not an attempt, not going for it in an attempt to run up the score.
No.
Give a chance basically to run more clock off.
Larry Marmee will continue in his recruiting. Try to get some more offense for this team. Had Powers not been hurt, he and his record would be much better than a 4-3. Losing to Washington State, losing to UCLA, even losing to Nebraska. 4th down, less than a yard. Johnson. I don't think he did it. Leif Johnson. This is where this Arizona State defense relishes in the challenge of stopping on short yard situations. Johnson, one of the toughest Jose's on this team, period. Special teams, he can hit like no other.
He's also done a good job carrying the ball. He's averaging almost 7 yards per carry.
I don't think they got the 1st down. I was just looking at the tackling. Leif Johnson with 8 tackles, 5 of those unassisted on special teams. as well as playing fullback. So as you see, and as we predicted, Arizona State held.
It's a good thing they brought out the chains on that one, though, Don. That was an eyelash.
Yeah.
The second-team offensive lineman for Washington have as much pride as the first-team offensive line. They'll feel just as badly about not getting the first down there as any offensive lineman on a starting offensive.
It hurt them against Oregon, too, and they didn't get it on 4th and 1. So 1st and 10, ball on the 43-yard line for the Sun Devils. And there goes Jerome Davis and Hillary Butler, number 45, one of the first to get there. Washington, in terms of giving up rushing yardage, they've allowed 47 so far in this game. Just to give you some idea, against Stanford, 28 yards. Nebraska, 135. Kansas State, -17. We'll continue with that in a moment as they go deep. And well covered by Josh Moore, number 7, with the intended receiver, number 31, Derek Land. Kansas State, -17 yards. Arizona, they give up 30 yards. Toledo, 48. California in the big one down there, 114. Oregon 65, and you come up with an average of 57.6 yards a game. Rushing.
Number 1 in the conference, number 1 in the country. But against the pass, they're also effective. Number 1 in the conference, number 2 in the country against the pass. That all adds up to number 1 overall.
3rd down and 4. Looking for the short route, but would be short of the first down unless they mark it farther than for what my eye told me. The linesman does have it at the 50, or rather the 47-yard line. James Clifford defending.
Very close to the first down. Probably see the chains again. See a lot of backups in there for the Huskies.
Yeah.
See, Jaime Fields actually did not start today. Brett Collins replaced Jaime Fields in the starting lineup, not through any lack of play by the part of Fields. Brett Collins just had earned the right to start. Outside linebacker coach Chris Tormey says it's a week-to-week thing. Whoever plays best on Saturday starts the next week, and it was Collins this week.
Don't think it's too close. Oh, maybe not. Oh, they're sure. I give up. Okay, Brett, you're right.
Got about that far to go. The second-team Husky defense took a little heat from those first-teamers last week, giving up that fourth-quarter touchdown to Oregon, so they don't want to have to go through that again.
See what Don James said, though? He says, I'd much rather give up a touchdown in the 4th quarter and let those second and third-team players get some game experience any day. And he's got more and more of that valuable experience for the youngsters this year, just like last year. 4th down and inches. Double tight end. See if Powers takes it himself. There's a gap over the center. Davison has the first down. Davison's yardage has been tough to come by today, but he has earned it. Lewis Jones on the hit against Davison.
Penetration by DeMarco Farr, but the trap play down low. Mike Lustig can't close the gap, and Davison picks up the first yard. Powers not going to take advantage of that gap over center. Remember, he's got that bad shoulder.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're going to protect him as much as they can. Get the ball to that 235-pound tailback.
Davison with 49 yards for the day. Fisher, 10 carries, 9 yards. Got a man open. Gulliford takes the hit. Hillary Butler, but not until he gets the first down at the 27-yard line. Great catch by Gulliford, and that is one of his trademarks, is the circus catch.
The Arizona State version of Mario Bailey, only 5'8", 160. He knows this is coming, but he gets that ball tucked away, gets it in the crook of his arm before Hillary Butler gets there.
Keep in mind, Huskies have gone 17 quarters without letting someone run a play from the line of scrimmage inside their own 20. And guess what? That streak was just snapped.
Way to go, Don.
Yeah. Pass good to Gulliford again. And all the way down to the 11th.
Outstanding protection provided for Powers. Good throw. Gulliford goes up to get it again. Russell Hairston knocks him out of bounds, but it's been a long time since anybody got inside the 20. Only the third time all year. Only one touchdown given up.
17 quarters since we've seen somebody lining up inside the Husky 20. It's 1st and 10. Ball on the 11. Powers still with it. Across the middle. What a goal! Almost a catch by Gulliford. So close.
Almost a spectacular one-handed grab. Once again, time for Powers. #1 offensive line doing the job. The ball thrown to the corner. Josh Moore is beat. The ball is hauled in, but the ground.
He had me sucked in. I thought he had it.
The initial grab. Watch him get that right hand right on the point of the ball. Gets the left hand on it, but is not able to get it in where he can protect it. The elbow hits the ground, and the ball comes out.
2nd and 10. No flags on the coverage by Hairston. Good play against Gulliford. Hairston only a redshirt freshman.
Kind of late for Powers to be looking to Gulliford exclusively. You wonder why we weren't throwing it to our big guy early.
42 seconds left for Powers here in the 3rd quarter, and it'll be 3rd down and 10. Ball on the 11-yard line. The shutout still up on the board for the Huskies. Gulliford wide to the right, the only wide receivers. Powers 9 of 24, 63 yards so far today. Looking in the end zone all the way, got a man, and Snyder with the touchdown. Going against Dave, Kilpatrick, and Hairston. Well, you look and look at Gulliford, and then you go to your #2 man. 11-yard TD pass to Kevin Snyder. His 2nd of the year.
See, just like Josh Moore slipped a little bit on the left side. You can see a man on the ground for the Huskies on the goal line there. It is indeed #7. Snyder takes advantage of it. Powers finds him. Huskies trying to protect that #1 ranking in scoring defense as well.
Yeah, they're giving up an average of what? 12 points a game?
7.9.
7.9, is that where it is?
Points a game is all. Tied to the #1 spot with Miami. Just a little activity early in the line on the extra point attempt. Well, if you're going to be offside hard.
Hillary Butler's got enough black tape around his legs and his shoes to wire a house.
Arizona State will take advantage of the half the distance to the goal, and will go for 2. Only have a 1.5 yards now.
Look at that. Look at that.
You got black shoes, you got black tape, you got no socks and sweatbands.
And then the sweatbands. And then the black tights underneath.
Looks like one big bruise up to his knees.
Huskies have called a timeout. 37 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Awful lot of strategy going on here for
yes. For Washington. Well, some improvement. They've had 7 penalties for 57 yards. Last week, actually 13 penalties for 110 yards against Oregon. And this is where we are so far. A victory today against Arizona State sends Washington down to play Southern Cal at 8-0, and Southern Cal's getting its lunch handed to it today by California. Well, it was a 31-7 last time we heard a score. Of course, by now you know what has happened, but that would put the Trojans at 3-5, 2 straight losses, and then they have to host Washington. That's going to be a dangerous game for Washington, because now Southern Cal has virtually nothing to lose and everything to gain if they can beat Washington. Tough day. All right, here we are. They're going for 2 following the 11-yard touchdown pass. Bob Kreischer, the tight end, goes to the right side. Cornell Charles in motion. That's the man they throw to. Flag down.
There's a penalty flag down.
Charles, the man who pulled it in for 2 points.
That was complete to Cornell Charles.
See what it's about,
what the flag is all about. They got to pull something out and look it up.
The try is good. The penalty was for defensive holding.
Get another look at the 2-point conversion.
The 2-point conversion is good.
Looks like he's throwing it to the underneath man, which is where the interference is called. But the ball makes its way back Charles.
Arizona State spent more time on going for 2 here than they did on the entire drive to get there.
Well, they've pulled within 33 now, so
instead of
it's only 4 more touchdowns and 2-point conversions will pull them within 1. 4 touchdowns and a field goal.
Not sure what that thinking's all about, but regardless, there's 37 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. And the sunshine still coming over on the left end of the stadium. We thought we were going to have wind and rain today.
Well, the forecast were for about 52 degrees and windy and rainy. The flags are blowing a little bit, but not that much. And it's far from rainy.
You couldn't ask for a better November day than today for a football game. Minor amount of wind, very little wind coming off the lake.
Certainly one of the most beautiful settings for the college football game in the country. Lake Washington, 100 yards to the east, mountains on both sides, fall foliage to the west.
Good friends of mine in the booth next door, announcers for Arizona State, and they have a beautiful setting down there. Said nothing beats the setting here in Seattle for college football with this stadium by the lake. We've all grown up around it, so we take it for granted. Pete O'Brien along with Tommy Smith, and he'll leave it there. Oh my goodness, what's he doing? Did he think he touched it while he was out on the playing field? He probably, yeah.
Well, he did indeed touch it while he was in the playing field, but the way the rules read, the impetus that takes the ball into the end zone is the question. If you control the ball and carry it into the end zone, then you better bring it out or it's going to be a safety. But there's no doubt that the kick is what provides the impetus to get the ball in there. If Tommy just falls on that, it's Husky ball at the 20. Instead, it's 1st and 10 at your own 4-yard line. Don James is going to explain that to Mr. Smith, as
Matt
does Matt
Simon is doing the same.
What happens when you get those defensive players handling the ball?
So 1st and 10 for Mark Brunell. Leif Johnson fights his way up to the 12-yard line. Great run by Leif. Came into the game with 12 carries and averaging almost 7 yards per carry. And 1 touchdown to his credit. He gets 7 yards there.
It's nice to have a 3rd-team fullback as talented in as many areas as Leif Johnson. Does a nice job here getting up in the hole and doing a little high stepping, light on his feet. Keep it going forward. Keep it going forward. The Husky fullbacks have only lost 1 yard on any carry this year.
This is the last play of the 3rd quarter as Napoleon Kaufman gets the 1st down to the 16-yard line. And that's going to do it for the 3rd quarter. Washington comes up with another 10 points. They led 31-zip at half. Arizona State with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. 4th quarter coming up. Right after this. The score 41-8 with the final quarter about to begin on golden fall November Saturday here in Seattle. I'm Don Poyer along with Chuck Nelson here on Prime Sports Northwest. And on 1st and 10, Damon Berry, the receiver. That's his 2nd reception of the year. Damon, the brother of Jay Berry, out of North Glen, Colorado, a redshirt freshman. So it's now officially a family act in today's game. That one good for 11 yards. Number 19, Larry Marmee Jr. on the play.
A lot of room for young receivers to make their mark as this year progresses. Remember, Curtis Gaspard, Mario Bailey, and Orlando McKay will all graduate. So those youngsters have got to step forward, give somebody some confidence in the passing game for 1992.
Kaufman. Wallerstedt tried to catch him. Wow. Number 5, Michael Williams, did catch him.
and Napoleon Kaufman caught it.
Michael Williams is impressive.
213 pounds of safety, and Napoleon Kaufman with those feet not on the ground very long takes some shots because he doesn't have anything on the ground to hold him up. See, he does a good job of outrunning Wallerstedt here, but
that's just a great hit.
Doesn't outrun Mr. Williams.
Brunell's doing well. He's 5 of 6 passing. Shouldn't have said a thing. Never fails. This time going to Damon Mack, who's had a couple of receptions this year. So it will be 3rd down and 7 for Mark Brunell.
If Mark Brunell is forced into a situation where he is the quarterback for the Huskies as this year goes on, or next year, you're going to see a different Mark Brunell than you saw last year with that knee injury. This is more an example of what Mark Brunell is going to be like as a quarterback. He's not going to be the option running scrambling, scampering downfield quarterback. He's going to be a controlled passer.
3rd and 7. And the pass to Mark Bruner, the true freshman out of Aberdeen, incomplete. Huskies now 9 of 17 on 3rd down conversions today.
3 plays and out for the first time, I believe, today. This ball, a little offline for Mark Bruner, but a ball at the Pac-10 level you're going to have to get a hand on and hang on to. Bruner has 2 catches on the year. One of them has been very spectacular.
Wardell back to punt. He's averaging now almost 43 yards per. Good punt. High spiral nose coming over. Gulliford catches it on his 22 and calls a fair catch. Great punt by John Wardell. 48-yard punt and no return.
People don't realize how hard it is to stand over there. He finished warming up 2.5 hours ago. Jeff Woodruff is the coach that handles the punters.
He was showing him the stopwatch, though.
The stopwatch. That one in the air a long time.
They do 2 things. They time how quickly it takes from the snap to the punt, and then the hang time. Obviously, Jeff was happy with both.
Not easy to do when you've been standing on the sideline for 2.5 hours.
That's right, Chuck. Good
point. Come out and make your one play and run off.
1st and 10 here in the 4th quarter. Powers, he'll be going upstairs. Here comes Jamal Fontaine, number 47, the sophomore out of San Francisco. Came around the roundhouse and got the tackle.
Instead of going upstairs, he goes down into the basement. Number 47, Jamal Fontaine, comes around the outside. You can see just beats number 66, Tim Kirby, the tackle for Arizona State. Powers is down.
Loss of 6 yards. 2nd down. Ball on the 13. Powers, here comes Maury. DeMarco Farr that time delivers the shot as he tried to go to the tight end, Bob Breischer. Kilpatrick defending. Dave, the redshirt freshman out of Anchorage. I would assume he must know Eric Moss, the senior receiver for Arizona State, also out of Anchorage. You just don't hear about a lot of players being recruited out of the 49th state.
You got to figure they've run across each other somewhere on the frozen tundra.
That's right. This is Clyde McCoy, redshirt freshman out of Ambridge, Pennsylvania. 3rd down and 15. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Playing on the sunny end of the field, and Powers wanting to throw. Here comes DeMarco Farr. They set up the screen pass over to Parnell Charles. Oh, he's got some opening. Now got some room, and James Clifford finally gets him out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Charles really pushing Kelvin Fisher for a starting job at fullback.
Those aggressive Husky defensive linemen, those youngsters looking for those big sacks. Dump it over him on the screenplay. Nice block there, coming in late by the wide receiver. Charles does a good job. Once again, another big back, 229 pounds, 6'1", out of my old stomping ground, St. Paul, Minnesota.
They like him a lot, to the point of where he really is pushing Kelvin Fisher for that starting job. 1st and 10. Trying to go over the top. That being to their receiver, Eric Moss, the other man out of Anchorage.
This is the part of the game where that Husky defense can really pad those rushing defensive stats, because remember, a sack of the quarterback counts as a rushing play.
We have not seen Mario Bates. He is a freshman phenom for Arizona State out of Tucson at running back behind Jerome Davison. I guess they feel Davison's done the job today. Maybe we'll see him later. There's Bates. He is something special.
He missed the last 2 games.
He's averaging over 5 yards a game, though, or carry.
Had a bad wheel. We did expect to see him some today.
There you saw the pass and the chance for Josh Moore to come up with the interception.
Looking for his 3rd of the year. Gets those alligator arms for some reason. Can't extend it out. Ball overthrown. Josh Moore standing back there behind the play. Shortens up a little bit.
So it will be 3rd down and 10 with 12:58 remaining in the game. 3rd down conversions, as you see, Powers Day. ASU is 4 of 12. 3rd, they need 10. Pretty good time, and here comes Fontaine and DeMarco Farr. Boy, you got to get the ball off.
And you got those two guys coming after you. Fontaine with his second sack in this series. Again, coming around the outside. Mike Ritter on him this time, number 75. Takes the long way, but Powers hangs on to it so long.
Yeah, that's a coverage sack.
No place to go.
It's often called, yes. Roush back to punt. Dean O'Brien back in the game. This one comes off the side of Roush's foot. ASU bounce, however. And it comes to rest at the 26-yard line of Washington. So Dean O'Brien unable to return it with 12-11 remaining in the ball game.
If the score stays like this, it would be a perfectly average day for the Huskies. Defensively, they give up an average of 7.9 points a game, and offensively, they score an average of 41.3 points a game. So
that's amazing.
Could have just phoned this one in right off the stat sheet.
Where's Robert Stack? This is one of those mysteries we have to
It is
look
Halloween
into.
time. It is Halloween season.
That's right. That's
Strange things happen.
42-yard punt, thanks to that roll for Steve Roush. So it's 1st and 10 from the 26. Washington leading 41-8. Kaufman tries to accelerate around the corner, but all of a sudden number 54, John Renshaw Jr. with the tackle, and there's a flag down.
See the misdirection. You see number 66, Tom Gallagher, pulling around. Flag is a hold on Washington is the preliminary indication.
David Walsh came in to finish the kill there after Renshaw made the hit, and as we find out, they'll back it up thanks to the holding call.
Holding. Offense. 1st and 20.
That's 8 penalties on Don James' team for 67 yards.
Working their way in double figures in penalties for
13 last
third
week.
consecutive week. I believe they had 10 or more down at Cal, did they not?
I couldn't confirm that for you. I know they had a lot.
Too many.
And I know a lot of the were holding penalties. So it'll be 1st down and 20. Ball clear back on the 16-yard line. Mark Brunell not having the benefit of good field position like Billy Joe Hobart had in the first half. Across the middle. Tough pass as they try to go to P.A. Emerson, a backup tight end.
Renshaw once again the right place at the right time. At this point in the game, you have to look at this as a practice if you're the Washington offense. And one of the things you try to do in practice is make the right reads. Mark Brunell did not make the right read there. And if he did, if he feels he made the right read, he's got to throw the ball outside. Judge the defender and his relationship with the receiver.
2nd down and 20. This time he's going deep. Damon Berry too far. He was defended by number 4, Lenny McGill. All season long for Arizona State, they had given up only 5 passing touchdowns. 2 today. 149 in the passing game. Oh my goodness, 295 yards today. And in the second half, as you see.
Well, they were climbing uphill from the get-go.
Yeah.
You're defending a 30-yard field instead of a 100-yard field. It makes your life a lot more difficult.
3rd and 20. Kaufman to the 27-yard line, well short of the 1st down. There's a late hit, I guarantee you. My goodness, that's a little ridiculous. David Ilsley, the junior out of Napa, with clearly a late hit by Washington.
Big guys like to get downfield and catch those pile standers, but you got to time it better than that. You have to know where the ball is and when the ball carrier is down. The play does not stop on the whistle.
Dead ball personal foul against the offense.
Again, we're up to 9 now.
Again, the play does not stop on the whistle. The play is effectively dead when the ball carrier is down, whether you hear the whistle or the whistle blows or not. Huskies working their way towards that magic 10 mark in penalties.
Watch the upper left. Here he comes.
77. You see the play over. Very similar to a call last week on Frank Garcia, the backup center.
Very much so. It was late. 4th down and 23, so John Wardell trying to lay his leg into this one for the Huskies.
John Wardell back in front.
Again, he's averaging almost 43
Eric Gulliford D.
for the season, and his last one won't hurt that average any at all. Eric Gulliford back. Wobbly. Came off his foot wrong and goes out of bounds at the 47-yard line, 48-yard line of Arizona State. Not one of his better punts. 40 yards? Goodness sakes, we'll take that any day. And it wasn't pretty. It's like one of my putts. Wasn't pretty, but I'm close.
Right?
That's right.
It was effective. John Wardell taking over the punting job for Billy Joe Hobart 3 weeks ago. It's been very effective. It's nice to know that you've got a guy, your quarterback doesn't have to stay out on the field and take a chance at taking those shots on a punt play.
Powers still in there. 1st and 10 with 11:10 remaining in the game, and down 41-8. And Powers looking to go deep. Oh, nearly intercepted by James Clifford.
He's got one interception on the air. He's looking for number 2 there.
He almost pulled in a Gulliford reception.
Looks like the tight end Brasher is coming open, but the ball thrown well behind. Brasher pays the price.
Nice play.
As well as almost giving up the interception. Nice play with that. Watch Josh Moore on number 46. Boom!
Josh Moore can hit with the best of them. He's only 190 pounds, and he planted one on Brasher, who's 236.
And he's only a freshman.
Pretty good hit that time, too, as Moss is the receiver. Kilpatrick with the hit, number 35. 3-yard gain with 10:49 remaining. Jerome Davis. 10 series only. Best midfield all year. Boy, the guys are deep into the archives today, coming up with some of these figures. Interesting.
Oregon only crossed the 50-yard line twice last week.
Third down. Third down at 7. And down for the first down to the 40-yard line. James Clifford on the tackle of Parnell Charles. Parnell with a 9-yard run.
Get these big backs. Let them get a head of steam up. It takes a lot of purple to get them down. These guys, again, 230 apiece in that offensive backfield.
So 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. And again, ASU doing well on the ground in the second half. Pass intended for Moss, number 82. Second down.
There was Anchorage on Anchorage there. Moss, the intended receiver. Kilpatrick, the defender.
This Moss, quite a character. Talking with Mike Chamberlain, one of the announcers for Arizona State, said Moss, in the summertime, goes bear hunting. He's a bear hunter. Also a bush pilot up there in Anchorage during the offseason. So he goes from that up in Anchorage to sunshine in the wintertime and football in Tempe.
Sure can't blame a kid from Anchorage for taking a scholarship to go down to Arizona.
On 2nd and 10, they go for Clyde McCoy, and too far as Hillary Butler was defending.
Hillary Butler, one of the biggest deep cover men you'll ever see. 225 pounds. He's an inside linebacker, but they toy with the idea of moving him to rover back, the strong safety position. I saw Hillary from a distance this summer covering wide receivers, and Pete Lisk and I were trying to figure out who is that cover guy? The guy making a break on the ball. That's a big DB, but he can move.
3rd down and 10. Charles won't get the first down this time, as Lewis Jones, number 1, along with Dave Kilpatrick, make the tackle. Charles averaging 4 yards per carry. Made his first career touchdown last week against UCLA. Just a little bit too late against the Bruins. 21-16, they lost that game, despite a very fine 4th quarter by Arizona State. 4th and 5, they'll go for it. Jaime Fields delivers the blow, but Gulliford makes the catch down to the 17-yard line. James Clifford and Lewis Jones on the tackle.
Jaime Fields delivers the blow, but Eric Gulliford delivers the goods. See the ball on target between the three Husky defenders.
First unit coming back in.
You know that first unit is back in not because Jim Lambright sent them in, but because they went to Jim Lambright and said, let us go do it some more.
Gulliford, what a catch on the 1-yard line against Dana Hall. Oh, that's another typical Eric Gulliford reception.
We almost saw one like this at the other end for 6. We see it here. The left foot is inbounds. The official makes the correct call. Gulliford, he almost snagged one right-handed down in the left end zone. That one left-handed in the right end zone.
Now let's see how it goes on 1st and goal. First unit in there. And they're probably plenty cold. Got a flag down.
The Huskies trying to substitute their short yardage defense, end up with too many players. You see Donald Jones at the top of your screen. He tried to get off the field knowing he was the 12th man.
Dead ball substitute infraction against Washington, half the distance to the goal line.
Donald Jones went out the back of the end zone. The rule reads you've got to come off your sideline. You cannot go off the field. You see Don James explaining to Don Jones that get in a situation like that, just call timeout.
Good point that you made earlier, though, is that you think the first unit was lobbying with Lambright?
I think they were a little upset at the number 2 unit last week giving up the touchdown.
18 points all year by the Huskies given up. Davison, touchdown Arizona State. So first unit comes in, and in 2 plays, Arizona State scores.
That gives the second unit a chance to give those first teamers a bad time this week.
Give it right back at them.
Arizona State looks like they're probably going to go for 2 again. Nobody coming on or off the field for either side. You give another look at the touchdown. You give it to that 235-pounder. He follows the 230-pound Charles into the line. Tyrone Rogers is there, but by the time Jerome Davison is on the ground, he's a yard deep. Big surge. You see the big surge. A shot to the face of DeMarco Farr as he goes on his back.
So ASU will go for 2. 2 wide receivers, Moss and Gulliford to the right side. Charles is the running back, and here comes Snyder. So guess what? It's going right. Here comes the rush. Pass incomplete, flag down in the end zone after the rush by Mason and Collins. Dana Hall wondering.
More likely the
why.
flag is on Tommy Smith.
Pass interference, defense, half the distance to the goal line, replay.
Tommy Smith.
Is that 10 penalties?
That'll take him into past the magic decade mark. Tommy Smith a little over aggressive. The receiver cannot get out of his break. Ball is in the air and the flag goes down. Once again, Arizona State will go for 2 from a 1.5 yards out.
That speaks for itself. That was just the 5th touchdown given up on the ground all year.
2 in the last 2 weeks.
They'll try again as Moss goes in motion. They're going for 2. Charles, and he's in. Dave Hoffman couldn't stop that freight train, as Charles at 230 pounds was able to take it in. So 41-16 is our score with 9 minutes remaining. And the good effort by Arizona State. Boy, you go back to those first 2 series when Washington got the interception and the fumble on the kickoff. It would have been an interesting ball game had that not occurred.
Looming larger.
We'll be back. Field for Washington, anticipating the onside attempt. And they go deep. Bryant. And brought down at the 30-yard line. Prime Sports Northwest is proud to present the Rainier and Rainier Light play of the game, and it came very early. In fact, the first play from scrimmage, as Walter Bailey was following Kevin Snyder and came up with an interception that set up really the tone of the entire day, Chuck. The interception leading to a touchdown for Washington.
Not that spectacular a play, but as you say, Don, the rest of the day went the same for Arizona State.
Play of the game brought to you by Rainier Lights. And around here, it's Rainier. Napoleon Kaufman with a big opening on first down. All the way up to the 45-yard line. As the young freshman comes up with a 16-yard gain.
No doubt that he can play the game. Eludes tacklers here. He's awfully strong in that lower body for somebody that only weighs 170 pounds. You can't gain over 5,000 yards in your college career, 86 touchdowns, and not be able to make some people miss.
He has 32 yards. Took a shot in the arm, evidently, or the hand. He's on the sideline, so it's 1st and 10. Renshaw, the inside linebacker, not fooled at all by the carry to the fullback, Leif Johnson. Renshaw, just a junior, but at good size at 6'2", 230. Gain of 2 yards by Johnson with 8 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the game. From here, Washington heads south to that classic matchup against Southern Cal down in Los Angeles at the Coliseum. Eugene Harris getting the call and getting the first down to the Arizona State 40-yard line. Harris coming into the game at 14 carries, averaging over 5 carries, or 5 yards per carry, rather.
Very well blocked play, and the youngster from just across the lake takes advantage of it. Straight ahead, north-south, I guess in this case, east-west.
Adam Brass with the tackle. So it's 1st and 10 on the 41-yard line of Arizona State. Burnell still at quarterback. Kaufman back in the game and slips.
I have to do some studies on the shoes. I wonder if the tape on his shoes goes all the way around the bottom.
I've never understood. I used to wear spats like that myself, but you're always careful about the strap going underneath because you can lose all your traction.
You cover up all those little nubs down there.
That's
right.
The
whole idea of putting them on there. So you got to have something to grab the small blades on the AstroTurf. We might see some change in foot gear for him over his career.
2nd down and 12. They send 3 receivers to the left side with Kaufman in the backfield, and he'll get it again. Got another opening. Trying to stay afoot. Adam Brass again with the tackle. That's the safety. No fumble. And a 7-yard gain by the freshman.
What you're getting again is a chance for Napoleon Kaufman to feel what it's like to be the guy. The tailback that's going to get the ball 6-8 times on a drive, carry the ball 15 times, 20 times in a game.
Kaufman with 37 yards today on 8 carries. 3rd down and 5. This time Kaufman going wide to the right. So more than likely, Mark is going to throw the ball. Ball complete, close to the 1st down. As Joe Kralik comes up with the grab. John Renshaw there defensively. That is Kralik's 2nd reception all year. The first one you'll remember, that was that 20-yard touchdown against Stanford. 1st down for Kralik and the Huskies. Joe injured his hand, had a broken finger, I believe, wasn't it?
He's had injury problems throughout his 2 years here at Washington. One of those guys that has a lot of potential if he can stay healthy. Nice catch here on the, has to turn around. You can see the ball comes out after he hits the ground, but 1 touchdown reception, 1 1st down reception amongst his 2 catches.
Toss sweep. Kaufman's got room, he's got a block from Kralik all the way down to the 14, and flags fly. His speed is something I've never seen before. 16-yard gain. I've never seen anybody accelerate like he does at the college level.
When he sees an opening.
5-yard face mask against the defense.
Hey, it's against Arizona State. 5:43 remaining.
I think Larry Marmee's hands have been super glued to his jacket. He's had that position all day long. You can see right here, he sees the gap and goes for it. You can see that the face mask grabbed by Adam Brass there.
Yeah. So it's 1st and goal just inside the 10. 53 yards for Kaufman on 9 carries. He's up over 5 yards a carry right now.
You talk about getting him experience and ready to play and all that. Remember, he's the 3rd-team tailback. The 2 guys ahead of him will both be back next year.
1st and 10. Another flag goes down as Kaufman falls near the 6-yard line.
Flag comes from deep in the defensive backfield, and that almost always means an offensive hold.
That it is.
Particularly when you're playing in a Husky game. Penchant for grabbing on all year long.
Holding. Offense, 10 yards and force from the line of scrimmage. 1st and 20.
Washington now 10. Penalties 79 yards. Larry Marmee with a loss today will put him right at 500. 20, 20, and 1 in his 4 years, or 3+ years at Arizona State.
You talk about the grumbling at Arizona State, not just because they're not winning, but they're also not drawing any fans. They've only been over...
Winning will bring them back, Chuck.
Yeah, they've only drawn over 45,000 twice this year, and that's a program that used to always get over 70 a game.
Kaufman slips again. That's 3 slips today, at least. At least. Yeah, a gain of 6. Could have been 16.
You've got an AstroTurf field that is supposed to be sticky. They water it down so that it doesn't grab too much. But in this case, it doesn't grab enough for Napoleon Kaufman.
It's the right side. You see that? The outside of his right shoe.
See, he's got to get down on the soles of his feet, not the outsides. I remember when I was a rookie in the NFL, I hate to tell stories like when I played, but Eric Dickerson had trouble adjusting to running on grass.
2nd and 14. Kaufman again, this time a little more straight away, but Renshaw, number 54, waiting for him.
The point being that it's different running on AstroTurf than it is on grass. Napoleon Kaufman played on a grass field in high school where you can make those wide cuts because you've got those big cleats that will grab. When you're running on damp AstroTurf like this, you've got to keep your weight over your feet.
Yeah, but he's been running on wet AstroTurf since August in practice.
You'd think he'd have it figured out by now, but obviously he doesn't.
3rd down and 13. 3rd and goal from the 13. Brunell needs some help, lays it off, gets it to his tight end. I think that's Mark Bruner. Bruner with his 3rd catch as a Husky in his 1st year, and Michael Williams on the play defensively with 3.5 minutes remaining. It will be 4th and goal from the 13. No gain on the play.
Mark Bruner does a good job of finding an open spot, but he's also got to be aware that it's 3rd down and 13, and 5 yards isn't going to do you any good here.
No, end zone time.
You got to take off, and if you do nothing else, you clear it out, and maybe your quarterback can keep running.
Travis Hansen will attempt his 3rd field goal of the day, right on the 20. So call it a 30 from the right hash mark, and it is good. This man is on a roll.
6 in a row for Travis Hansen after taking a lot of heat early with his 2-for-6 start.
30-yard field goal. Washington leads it 44-16. I believe it was 42-16 last year. We'll be back.
Well, this year,
Washington beating Arizona State.
This year, each team has gotten 2 points better.
Yeah, that's right. 44-16. Jason Crabb will kick. Somebody who didn't pay for a ticket to get in the stadium today. Not Jason, I mean the Seagull.
No, Jason didn't pay either.
That's right. Good high kick. Galbraith from the 6. And he's met there at the 20-yard line. Looking over the entire game so far, 16 points, the most in Husky Stadium since UCLA's 25 points last year, and then Billy Joe for his day, a good one. Mario Bailey as well, 7 more receptions. But just keep in mind, it's November. Every win is so crucial in the month of November when you're talking about getting to bowls or a Rose Bowl or any bowl of any kind. You can't lose and you can't play badly in November. 1st and 10 for Powers as they set it up. A little scream, and DeMarco Farr is there. DeMarco coming a long ways to make that play defensively against Kelvin Fisher. Breaking down the game by quarters, a good first half for the Huskies. That's really when they did most of their damage. The 2 turnovers by Arizona State, the interception and the fumble on the kickoff, set up the 14 points for the Dogs. Second down and 6 here in the fourth quarter. 2:20 remaining. DeMarco Farr putting the heat on Powers, but he lays it off. And getting up is Davison to the 29-yard line, short of the first down. Dante Robinson on the tackle. The executive producer of Prime Sports Northwest is Clayton Packard. This game was produced and directed by Michael Odino. Our production manager is Carl Malone. Teresa Cuthill, our program director, and our operations manager, Liz Surrett. Facilities provided by Northwest Mobile Television. Our thanks to Stacy James, our statistician, and our spotter, Katie Poyer, for their work today. Third down and 1. I don't think he got it.
Has to get to exactly the 30-yard line. You can see the official spot just short of the 30.
Melvin Fisher, the ball carrier. Gain of about a yard.
Well, let's see if they have to measure it for Coach Marmee or not. It'll be fourth down.
Fourth down.
No measurement.
No measurement and nothing to lose again for Arizona State.
Those few folks that are still in the stadium trying to get the defense fired up. And a timeout called. Oh, my goodness. Minute 35 remaining, and you're down 44-16.
But you're also a competitor. You want to do everything you can. You want to try to get better every play. But Powers, a guy that likes to win, likes to succeed at what he does. A 4-point student, pre-med student. All the reports are that he's a great kid that is not incredibly talented, but gets the best out of what he's got.
Yeah, talking to the SID here at Arizona State Sports Information Director, he has half the talent Paul Justin did, but he uses it better than Paul did, his own talent.
Everybody remembers Paul Justin, who is the kind of guy that would go in a huddle and knock some heads around and say, "You're not going to do that again, are you, buddy?" And they wouldn't. Powers is a guy that goes in the huddle and just tries to get it done and hope everybody follows. He's talented, no doubt about it, only a sophomore.
Well, here we go. They need about 3 inches on fourth down. Fisher and Davison in the backfield. And a third tight end. Davison has it and has much more. Out of bounds. Number 25, Lamar Lyons. Third string, free safety. Knocks Davison out after a 13-yard gain.
Those short fourth down plays, once they pop, can go for big yardage. Davison, a tough guy. He'll get you 13 there. Great story. Dropped out of high school his senior year in Mississippi. Fell in with a bad crowd. Had some family members he's running with. Ended up in prison. Said, "I'm out of here." He went to JC in California. Earned a scholarship to Arizona State.
Pass complete to number 84, Kevin Snyder. Short of the first down. Down to a minute 18 remaining. Well, the biggest story here today really is that turnover margin for Washington. 2 huge turnovers. First quarter, they lead the nation in turnovers at a plus 2.43. And again, that was the big story as Fisher carries in Washington territory, close to a first down.
Washington had 14 points on the board before Arizona State had run its second offensive play. Washington kicks off to Arizona State. First play is an interception. Short touchdown drive for Washington. Washington kicks off. Fumble on the kickoff return. Another short Washington drive, 14-0. No sweat even broken by the Arizona State offense.
Pass laid off to Fisher and met very well.
You see, for the first time, Arizona State goes into the shotgun, something I expected to see a lot more of. Doesn't come out until there's 45 seconds left in the game.
Dante Robinson making that stop, by the way. They used the shotgun, I think, on one play earlier in the first half, and that's about it, Chuck. You're right. Very, very little. They should use it. He's so big. Pass complete again. Hillary Butler there on the play defensively, short of the first. With the time remaining, you see.
Brett Powers passing to Kelvin Fisher.
And Fisher was the receiver coming out of the backfield. This one's over. Maybe they'll get one more play in. And Powers does so to stop the clock. It'll be fourth down.
Stop the clock.
It's all right. He's going to have close games again maybe next week. And as you say, Chuck, this is all training, getting ready for his career throughout.
He says that's what I was coached to do in the meetings. We have no timeouts left and the clock is running. Stop the clock.
Well, if you're into a lot of numbers, Washington now back since the beginning of the season in 1990 is 18-2, and still outscoring their opponents by an average of about 39 points to 12. Should be the last play. Nearly intercepted. That by number 32, Richie Chambers, a backup linebacker.
Well, if Washington had kept Arizona State from scoring that second touchdown, we talked about an average game for the Huskies. It would have been almost exactly an average game. Washington had hung on to that 41-8 lead. 41 points. The Husky average 8 points. Their defensive average 490 yards for Washington. Their average is 487. They've given up 231 yards today. Their average is 223. So not a whole lot's going to change in the statistics.
Numbers aren't going to change much. Well, this will be it. One play.
Unless he throws the ball into the ground to stop the clock.
You're cold. Hey, that's going to do it. Don James goes to 8-0, 5-0 on the Pac-10. One step closer to the Rose Bowl. And Larry Marmee's team goes to an even 4-4. 2-3 in the Pac-10. And at one point in this season, it looked like this might have been a battle of the undefeateds in conference play until Washington State and UCLA got their hands on the Sun Devils. Don James shaking hands with Charles Harris, the athletic director at Arizona State, along with Marmee, and that's going to do it for the Washington Huskies. Felipe Sparks, with a bright career ahead of him, saying nice going to Mario Bailey, a man who had him going in circles a couple of times. Final comment from Husky Stadium right after this. Once again, the final. Washington defeating Arizona State 44-16. They go 8-0 in overall play and 5-0 in conference play. And Chuck, I think we're going to have a very tough game next week down in Los Angeles, especially since California put a whipping on USC, and now the Huskies must play the Trojans down there.
Again, anytime you go down to the Coliseum, you know you're going to face a bunch of really good athletes. In the Huskies' favor, however, is USC's schedule. They come out of big losses against physical teams, Notre Dame and California. But again, much like the UCLA game last year, you're going to face a team that has nothing to lose and has some great players who just haven't made great plays as the year's gone on, but they're capable of doing it.
Yeah, it could be very dangerous on Saturday unless Washington comes in and takes control immediately. All righty. Well, for Chuck Nelson, I'm Don Poyer, reminding you not to miss Husky football action next Sunday at 8 o'clock when they take on those USC Trojans. Chuck and I will be down in Los Angeles, and you'll see it right here on Prime Sports Northwest. Coming up, be sure to stay tuned for college football preview. First and 10 for Powers as they set it up. A little screen. DeMarco Farr is there. DeMarco coming a long ways to make that play defensively against Kelvin Fisher. Breaking down the game by quarters. A good first half for the Huskies. That's really when they did most of their damage. The two turnovers by Arizona State, the interception and the fumble on the kickoff, set up the 14 points for the Dogs. Second down and 6 here in the fourth quarter, 2:20 remaining. DeMarco Farr putting the heat on Powers, but he lays it off. And getting up is Davison to the 29-yard line, short of the first down. Dante Robinson on the tackle. The executive producer of Prime Sports Northwest is Clayton Packard. This game was produced and directed by Michael Odino. Our production manager is Carl Malone. Teresa Cuthill, our program director, and our operations manager, Liz Surrett. Facilities provided by Northwest Mobile Television. Our thanks to Stacy James, our statistician, and our spotter, Katie Poyer, for their work today. Third down and 1. I don't think he got it.
Has to get to exactly the 30-yard line. You can see the official spot just short of the 30.
Melvin Fisher, the ball carrier. Gain of about a yard.
Well, let's see if they have to measure it for Coach Marmee or not. It'll be 4th down. No measurement.
No measurement and nothing to lose again for Arizona State.
Those few folks that are still in the stadium trying to get the defense fired up. And a timeout called. Oh, my goodness. Minute 35 remaining, and you're down 44-16.
But you're also a competitor. You want to do everything you can. You want to try to get better every play. But Powers, a guy that likes to win, likes to succeed at what he does. A 4-point student, pre-med student. All the reports are that he's a great kid that is not incredibly talented, but gets the best out of what he's got.
Yeah, talking to the SID here at Arizona State Sports Information Director, he has half the talent Paul Justin did, but he uses it better than Paul did, his own talent.
Everybody remembers Paul Justin, who is the kind of guy that